oh my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. In a cavern, in a canyon, excavating for a mine, dwelt a miner, 49er, and his daughter Clementine. Light she was and like a fairy, and her shoes were number 9. Herring boxes without topses, sandals were for Clementine. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine.
Hello, welcome to episode 198 of Floating Through Film. It is your host Luke, and today we are continuing our series on the man John Ford with two of his 1940s movies, those being My Darling Clementine from 1946, I believe, like right after World War II, and then Fort Apache, which I believe is 1948. So, two great movies today that we'll be doing. Before we get into it, though, let me introduce my co-host Blake.
What's up?
And Danny.
Hello.
A little bit weird today because this is the first time ever doing it digital, because of the snow that has ravaged
because
us.
Luke has been sent to the West.
But what do you mean by that?
I was making a Fort Apache Henry Fonda joke, how he gets sent to the West. And he hates it.
I don't get it.
I was saying you got sent to the West, like we can't meet in person anymore.
Oh, because I'm like not.
Yeah, you got sent to the West to Fort Apache. Don't you remember how the movie starts? That's basically
How does that apply to me though? How's that apply to me?
I was making a joke. Damn.
Just like the joke didn't make a lot of sense.
Okay, at least Blake got it, so it wasn't totally like that's
this is some like generational gap, probably.
What? No, it's just like that's literally part of the movie. When he's like pissed because he has to get sent to the West.
What does that to do with me though?
I was saying, I was making a joke, like you got sent to the West. That's why we can't do it in person.
Well, it's because of the snow.
This guy.
All right. Anyway,
I feel what a joke is.
I just the joke didn't make any sense. You know.
Okay. All right.
It's a bad joke. Anyway, yeah, I'm surprised we haven't done this before in the 198 episodes of our existence.
Well, it's never snowed fucking 2 days in a row in Arkansas.
Well, also, I think when it happened before, it was like during the week.
So that's true too. It was fine by Sunday.
It always worked out. But you know what? Shouldn't be too bad. Although maybe we're just definitely not used to doing this, so that's probably going to be the weirdest part about it. So anyway, these two movies, what do they have in common? Henry Fonda, they're pretty like a lot of points very more like maybe more melancholic and maybe more just like pessimistic in general. But even then, there's just like, since it's John Ford, there's kind of like every emotion at once, especially in My Darling Clementine, because oh my god, there's just so much happening in that. I think like what I like notice is like every cut kind of has like a new emotion in a way, or like promises a new emotion. Because like one scene you're crying, the other scene next scene you're laughing, and then and it feels like it just jumps from emotion to emotion. But anyway, I guess
you say that's the like what these two share in common is like all four movies.
Well, I was like, I think
it's a really good point too, because
despite their pessimism, they have that.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll talk about this with My Darling Clementine specifically, but so you think the ending is pessimistic?
Kind of.
Okay, interesting.
Like I wouldn't say it's like purely pessimistic, but like it's I don't know. It's a complicated ending. Both of these endings are very
Definitely.
complicated.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But
I mean, that's another thing they share in common too, I guess.
like complex endings, you're saying?
Yeah, kind of
Okay.
like open endings.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, should we just start talking about My Darling Clementine then?
Uh,
Um, unless
I
you have
mean, I
something else.
guess. Well, I just had one like thing. I said I was gonna bring it up last week. Basically, like how much Gallagher talks about Ford's acting, and
Yeah.
I think I said it last week. But what he calls a vignette characterization, because I think this is a great week to bring it up. Um,
Okay.
for both these movies, but especially because I think I said this last week, but how Henry Fonda is my favorite. He might be my favorite actor. So I think I
Yeah.
watched I watched two other. No, I watched one other Fonda movie. Damn, I'm
What
forgetting
is
which
it?
one. Uh,
Describe it to me.
no, damn, why am I forgetting this?
Is it a Ford movie?
Oh yeah, it was The Fugitive. Yeah. I watched The
The
Fugitive earlier
Fugitive.
this week.
Okay.
Um, and I forgot. He also did one called I can't remember that one too now. But either way, oh yeah, the Revolutionary War movie, uh, Drums Along the
Oh.
Mohawk, and
Okay.
these
Yeah.
all came around the same amount of time. I thought I'd rather watch They Were Expendable instead of that one, so
Okay.
I had to make a cut. But
Yeah.
yeah, I said Fonda. That's why I was going to bring up this. I think it's really good. It's an interesting kind of way to talk about Ford's characters and why they're so like. To me, they're special. Like we brought it up a little bit last week with Johnny Toe, how
Yeah.
like he doesn't like develop his characters. You know, like traditionally he like basically likes stereotypes. He kind of just like characters basically stay the same and they just like have events happen to them. But you could say
Yeah.
Ford is
That's
maybe
character
the
revelations.
yes, like we are revealed as the audience like to their character, what their character is already. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh, and I know last week I said Tal Gallagher said basically like with to truly watch and Luke already brought this up at the intro when he was describing what these movies have in common is like how he noticed basically every cut has a new emotion. But like that's what Tal Gallagher basically said that in that quote I read last week. How if you watch a movie without feeling like Ford's cuts, um, or like noticing the montage in essence, then you're really not watching a Ford movie truly.
Yeah.
You know. And
Definitely.
so I found another quote in the Ford book where he says the key to Ford's style is the dialectic between his cutting, which I talked about last week, and his vignette characterization, which is what I was going to talk about this week. And so like it's kind of funny. It's he says let me just read the quote first. A typical Ford drama centers on a group rather than one or two characters. It is enclosed within a greater drama, a community as represented by a dozen or more well-defined characters. For this reason, Ford's characters are designed for easy recognition, for memorableness. And then he quotes this French writer Jean Mitry. As Jean Mitry put it, Ford's characters, quote, almost always strongly typed, indeed stereotyped. But then Ford gives them life and realism by stuffing them with with a thousand details, a thousand
Ooh.
original or singular nuances, nuances which burst the seams of the ready-made clothing the characters wore at first, when it was necessary to define them and then situate them dramatically. Unquote.
Okay.
Um, so
Yeah.
basically, like just like these characters are basically like just stuffed with details throughout the movie.
Yeah.
You know, these like small
I think
little.
my favorite example is because when you read that quote, like my mind immediately jumped to Doc Holliday and My Darling Clementine.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
someone that like like at first you see he seems some one way and then like Ford gives him like so much complexity, but also it's like in a very like simple way. Like what might be my favorite scene in My Darling Clementine is the to be or not to be scene. And that scene, like, oh my
Mhm.
god, like it not only changes our perspective on Doc Holliday, but also it that scene also changes Wyatt Earp's perception of him. I feel like a lot, um,
Yes.
kind of like this man with like he's not just like a gambler, like shady type. You know, he has a lot
Hmm.
of like he's got poetry in him.
Yes.
Yeah,
Damn.
Yeah,
Is that why you want
Pussy.
to rewatch McKay and Mrs. Miller too?
No, I honestly didn't even. I just thought
That's
of that on the
crazy because you
spot.
were just saying it before we recorded. You wanted to
Yeah, I was
rewatch
like,
that.
I need to
Now you're
watch it
recording
because
the
it's
movie.
snowing outside. But yeah, I just thought that on the spot.
No, I think one thing that also makes Johnny Toe like John Ford is he likes to use the stereotypes to his advantage. Because the first time I saw Doc Holliday come on screen, I was like, "This guy's the villain."
Yeah, yeah, no, he looks like a
Interesting.
Well,
villain.
I said that with the cow, with the guy that actually stole the cow too, like the old man. Like I was like, okay, this guy's obviously going to be the guy that does everything. But
Oh
whenever
yeah,
Doc Holliday arrives on screen, you're just like, he
see
kind
every
of looks like
time.
a gangster. So
I mean, he is. He's technically an out. Like, he kind of runs the city, the town,
yeah,
without being an official lawman. He's kind of like an outlaw in that way.
Every time I see the actual, I forgot what his name is. I'm so bad with names, but I just think of like, oh my god, that's Stumpy from Rio Bravo. that's like the first thing I think of. It's Walter Brennan's the actor. Old Man Clanton. Clanton.
Oh, that's Walter Brennan. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, of course it's Walter
The
Brennan. What?
I mean,
I guess it's like he's not as like
I didn't think he's not as prominent in this one. He's just more of like the kind of evil dad
his
villain.
voice though is so like iconic.
I knew I recognized him somewhere. I just forgot. Like, it was Walter Brennan, honestly. But okay, like so to go on with vignette characterization, like this was my own head because I'm gonna bring up what Gallagher brings up in a moment. But what kind of movies? I'm kind of giving it away already. But what kind of movies do you see vignette characterization the best? At least in my opinion.
Like director?
Yeah, you can say director, time
Um
period.
well, westerns.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um
say silent film to
okay,
me,
silent film. Yeah, okay.
especially the silent comedies, like with where
Yeah.
basically you immediately see a person, you just like know who they are, like the rich drunk in City Lights or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Would you
Uh,
say like Bresson would be in there?
I think he actually is going for that, but like he also doesn't like believe in expressionism of the actors, so it's
Yeah.
like
So it's like
you have
kind of
to read
hard.
them to a lot more.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I do think there is something to that where like um, it's not done through dialogue necessarily or
Yeah.
even characters that are growing. But uh, and apparently, but so the reason I bring this up is because Ford even himself described himself as a comedian, and um, Gallagher says that basically he already had mastered from early on in his career comedy skills of vignetting, accent, quicksilver shifts of mood, and deftness. But then he really, over the course of his career, had to master techniques of the tragedian. I didn't even know that was a word, but he says basically his comedy techniques remained the same from his first film, The Shamrock Handicap in 1925, all the way through Donovan's Reef in 1964. And
Yeah.
because do you remember like because Ford's film are also kind of like episodic that way, like the same way a lot of silent film we talked about, and I also brought this up on the Boonwell series
Yeah.
because he also kind of like styled his movies in this episodic way from comedies without necessarily just making pure comedies all the time.
Yeah.
Um, and it's funny because like now that I'm even thinking about this, like we think of silent films as comedies, but they have like these sharp shifts in mood too that we're even talking about with Ford.
Yeah. Definitely.
Where it's not like City Lights is obviously just not pure comedy the whole time. It's like literally one of the most emotional movies ever made because it has all
Yeah.
these different emotions in it. The same way like a Ford movie does. Um, but then I was just gonna bring up maybe some stuff what Ford said about acting in general. Like he has one quote where he says, "You can have a weak, utterly bad script, and a good cast will turn it into a good picture. With the exception of stars who sign for parts by the studio in advance, I insist on choosing names for myself, and I spend more time on that than any other task." Unquote. So like it's obviously he put like a huge emphasis on just like casting, uh,
Yeah.
because he like this. It's like more important to be involved in the casting process when you are just relying on this like vignette characterization. Where like just seeing a person should describe what they are as a
Yeah.
person in your film. where you're not going to have a lot of dialogue or a lot of like character building moments or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he also, this is something I found interesting, where he says, so first this is Gallagher, he says, thus what Ford wanted from an actor was presence, to be their roles. But critics, Ford lamented, quote, seem to think acting is better when it's self-conscious, unquote. Which I thought is kind of interesting, because like, I forgot what episode I brought this up recently, where I was just talking about modern day acting. It just like, and I was calling it naturalism, but I honestly think this might be a better word for it. Is just like self-conscious acting, like like who you are as an actor or whatever. Like versus let me read this other quote where I kind of love this. This is John Ford, where he says, "quote Ward Bond was one of my best actors. He could do anything. Ward showed more on his face or with a little quiver in his voice than some of the so-called great Stanislavski actors. No time for them at all." Unquote.
That sounds like a slur.
Stanislavski actors. Yeah, but obviously, like, I feel like this is like this kind of like because now it's like almost like being stereotyped is like seen as a bad thing, you know.
Yeah.
But even within like Ward, like just take Ward Bond for example, I've seen almost like I think that Ward Bond has seen more of these Ford movies I watched this week than Henry Fonda was.
Yeah.
And he's always Ward Bond, but he's like a different role in every one. You know, he just like, and you kind of get the character he's playing right away.
He has the same kind of like way of talking.
He has like the
like kind of like the same gesture, like movements,
the gruffness. But like you can tell right away if he's a villain or if he's like the good guy. You know,
they'll like darken his like hair if he's like a villain. Like his like eyebrows will be a little more
interesting. Yeah,
I mean, I think that's what I remember.
Yeah, they probably do different stuff like that too.
But
like he's so good in like The Long Voyage Home and They Were Expendable. He's like more of a good guy, you know.
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of nice, like watching, like being able to actually like Ward Bond. You know, I always love Ward Bond.
He's definitely a lot more manic though in his like worst roles, like Canyon Passage. Young Mr. Lincoln, he's kind of like has like a little manic energy to him at points. I'm trying to think what also. Anyway, but yeah, keep going.
I mean, you can root for him in My Darling Clementine, right? He's the brother, or he's one of the brothers.
Yeah,
right?
He doesn't really have a super prominent role, I feel like.
But you're definitely.
I mean,
at the end, he does.
I guess, yeah.
He's definitely more of a supporting role.
He's still playing kind of like the tough guy, though. Also,
he's like at most fulfilling.
That's true.
But that's a good example of he's just like you still like him when you see him right away, you know.
Yeah, because it's Ward Bond.
And so I had a couple more like what Tad Gallagher kind of mentions in his book throughout. I just list them as like maybe you could say Ford's techniques in kind of like building these characterizations. And this was my favorite one, where Tad Gallagher says Ford often built his characters based on the foibles or eccentricities already there in their actors. So basically, it's like building your character on the actor's own eccentricities. You know, that's already there. Like once again, why place so much importance on casting. Yeah. And to me, that's why Fonda's so great, because like I've noticed there's not much as leaning back, like where like he's in a chair and lean back. In the other films I've watched with Ford, that doesn't have Fonda. It's like almost specifically he saw like Fonda's body.
That all over again, because that was
like I pointed out last week how I've been trying to keep track of how many times you see characters like lean back in a chair in a Ford film.
Yeah,
but it's a lot more in the Fonda films. I can't even like because like I think that's something where he just loves it. Just like it emphasizes. Well, it's like emphasizes his long legs and just his lankiness, you know.
Yeah.
And he's actually like in My Darling Clementine, he's actually kind of good at it. Where he does like the where he's switching the legs. Where he's switching the legs while she's like mad at him behind him. But yeah, there's just like things like that where it seems like he just like knows what makes like these kind of at least even the actors on screen like what their kind of eccentricities, you know.
Yeah.
And this was apparently something else he did with actors was he wouldn't give them the script, like he wouldn't give them all the same script, and he would only give it to them like the day of. So what Tad Gallagher says is, quote, Ford delighted in throwing disconcerted actors into otherwise carefully prepared scenes. So basically, like leaving these actors like basically unprepared until like they were filming.
Yeah,
I guess to get like nervous energy from them, like, a more naturalism, I guess.
yeah,
Uh, but it's almost kind of crazy when you think about it, he's only shooting one or two takes most of the time too. It's just kind of insane to think about. Uh,
no, yeah,
and then this is one more thing, where Tad Gallagher says Ford had a quote unquote wardrobe fetish, where he would always mess with the characters' wardrobes like right before they would film, just to make them look more natural, and, like
yeah.
especially with hats, he would always adjust people's hats. Um,
I mean, definitely makes sense for like the military stuff. Him doing that
that's true.
because, like, yeah, I feel like there's just a lot of like weird costume things that they could probably get wrong, and then probably like with the
See, that's
military,
the thing. Like,
making sense.
actually, we have a friend, Sean Paul. He would be the one to like watch this and be like, "Oh, they got that wrong. Like, that's from the 19
Yeah,
that's
movie
from the
nerd.
1970s, not the 1950s." Like, or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that. I would never notice. Like,
yeah. Like, I don't know. It looks the same to
for the
me.
most part, especially military wise. But there are some people like that would definitely like almost takes them out of the movie if they're like, "Oh, that's the wrong
Oh
symbol
god.
or whatever." Uh, but I don't know. That's basically all I had. I thought it was interesting though. Like a lot of the actors that Tad Gallagher quotes, in terms of like how they talked about Ford, they would all like a lot of them would say, "Ford barely directed me at all. He would just give me a few
Yeah,
lines here and there, but basically just trust me to like, that's why I cast you in the first place. To like be yourself." Like he
yeah,
would try not to give them advice a lot, which is kind of interesting.
damn,
Um, but yeah, that's all I had this week.
damn, yeah, good.
Also, you mentioned Doc. I guess another part of that is the like just the actor's eyes, because
Okay,
that's the
yeah.
main thing I know. Like, I feel like that's why he cast Doc in My Darling Clementine, is
No, yeah,
because
that
his
guy.
eyes are kind of just there's like such a sadness in them, almost
His
like
face
a
too is also really
yeah, his
memorable.
whole face, but definitely a sad. And I think
Yeah,
also like in the Tad Gallagher video essay on My Darling Clementine, he cuts to that face of Doc when he's giving that great quote,
yeah.
where Ford says, "Without the eyes, I've got nothing."
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Damn. Doesn't he talk also about like how like the smoke is like rising and something about like that or something?
I don't remember that
In that
part. All I remember
scene.
is that Ford quote where he's like,
Yeah, yeah,
"If I can't see the eyes, I've got nothing."
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, so it's like it's the secret to movie making is people's eyes,
Yes,
their expressions, and
their
yeah,
yeah, their face expressions. Damn, I actually had that quote written down.
yeah, great
Yeah, the
quote.
secret of movie making is people's faces, their eye expression, their movements. And honestly, to me, that's what makes acting in film special. Because like even compared to theater, where like you could say theater is like an unbroken take, like you're watching it
Yeah,
all happen at once. But in a film, an actor never knows how they're going to be cut. So
yeah,
almost like an actor has to be overwhelming and just like if you see an actor's eyes for 2 seconds, it has to be like that's almost acting in a way. And a lot of people don't like that because like they just want like the long take where like an actor's like giving this like dumbass speech, like really emotionally. Like all the Oscar ones are gonna have, like all the Oscar videos will show this year. But to me, that's not what film acting is. Like to me,
yeah,
film acting is almost the opposite, where it's like you would just show an actor on screen not talking at the Oscars. Like that's how you should do it, But
yeah,
like that never happens.
definitely.
Wayne also has some. John Wayne, like I've really grown to appreciate too, just his acting
Oh, I love
over
it.
watching
Like
these foreign
John
films.
Wayne, I just love his voice. Honestly, it's just so
His
like,
voice, but his body positions are so good too. Like when he puts his hands on
yeah,
his hips and stuff like that, or like he puts on a post and his
yeah.
knee up. Uh,
Okay, yeah, yeah, definitely. He's very much a presence, a
yes,
towering presence.
yeah, I would say Tower because Fonda has his own presence too, but it's like this kind of lankiness and like even in Fort Apache when he's like supposed to be like evil, uh, he's still not that intimidating. Like he's uh,
Yeah, no one really. I mean, yeah, damn. But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and get into My Darling Clementine. Um, this is cream of the crop for me in terms of Ford movies. Honestly, movies in general too. For being honest, this movie is I absolutely adore this movie, like a lot, a lot. Um, and I think this was the first Ford movie I like that like truly clicked with me as well. When like every time I revisit it too, it's just always amazing, like more and more amazing too. Um, I mean, I kind of said earlier, like this movie just kind of has like everything I'd want in a movie, like uh, the comedy, the kind of like um, the like melancholy, both romantic and just like sadness in general of the characters and kind of their situations. Um, like uh, like how the characters kind of like uh, nothing really is like everything is kind of like temporary. All these relationships, everything like comes to an end. Wyatt Earp just like he sort of like he comes to this town, civilizes it, and then has to leave. He almost can't stay in it. Like it just feels like he has to keep wandering. There's something about that I find really interesting.
You don't
Um,
think it's gonna come back?
I don't think that's what he's implying at all. But
Interesting. I'm surprised you have that reading of all people too. You
I
just
don't know. I
love a
just
happy
don't.
ending. Like,
It's not really happy. I don't know. I just don't really. I just don't really. I
well,
don't know.
what about you, Blake?
No,
Do you think it's
I
gonna come
think
back?
he's probably gonna come back. He's smitten with Clementine.
I just don't know. I don't know if I trust him
Well,
Why?
okay. It's funny
because
that you
this
guys
already
picked
happened
this.
to Clementine before too with Doc Holliday.
Ooh, that's a good point. I didn't think about
I remember
that.
that.
They're different people though.
I mean, that's also a
Are
good
they?
point.
But it's just like I don't know. Just I don't know. That's just the vibe I get from it. But yeah, like um, I don't know. It's just it's a western that has so many like interesting sequences that I just love. Um, the this is honestly also probably one of this movie like looks incredible too. Like the
It
lighting, the
does,
like
dude.
just like some of like the depth to a lot of these frames is just crazy. Um, yeah, this movie is just like there's just so much to get from it for me.
I know
A
it's like
lot of
what, an hour
memorable
and 40
scenes.
minutes. How long is this movie?
It's
It's
an
like
hour
yeah, like
40.
an
Yeah.
hour and a half, hour 40.
I know, just insane.
Yeah,
Like how much is in it?
no, yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, this is it's just like it's hard to sum up truly, but yeah, this movie I adore this movie. Anyway, Blake, is this your first time watching it?
Yeah, it is.
What are your thoughts?
No, I also loved it.
Good.
This is like so this type of story is basically I feel like what a lot of Hong Kong's like just vengeance based movies just take off of or take from. It's just like this overall kind of story of just like man is about his own business almost. Something wrong happens to him and he has to set things right, essentially.
Yeah.
But it also shows that it like I do agree with your pessimistic take because I feel like what a lot of Hong Kong movies might not show is like a lot of their or some of theirs that I've seen is just more like so from a like they are getting this bloody vengeance that's kind of seen as like a kind of good thing.
Yeah.
This one's way more pessimistic in its outlook on just like this like it doesn't really like matter almost at the end of the day like like violence just begets more violence almost is kind of this like what kind of this movie is saying to me.
Yeah. Okay.
um and I think that's why like the ending is actually kind of pretty good, not with the girl but with like them actually killing the father, because if the father actually left that would have just been like a continuation of just like this vicious cycle. But
Yeah.
it does feel like it has like a complete ending to like yeah they had like they got their vengeance by like what cost, like they lost two of their brothers
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
doing this, or they lost one of their brothers already but then they lost the other one just by trying to chase this thing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
didn't really have to, but it's
Definitely.
for a good reason too, you know, like
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
No, but I did really like it obviously, like what you said about the depth that you see in some of these shots is fucking insane. Like that last sequence had some of the coolest shots I think I've ever seen, just like in terms of depth. Like I still remember Like whenever Fonda just like takes his hat off and signals to them, and then you just see like this really long ass shot of just them walking like
Yeah.
through a building, and then you see everything behind the door
Oh,
that they
there's
open. I'm
also
just
just
like,
a lot of
holy
like
shit.
little stuff too. Like I think there's a moment where like someone slides him a bottle across the bar, and like it's like from the
Yes, dude.
background. That shit's insane.
No, there's
Just like little
so
stuff
many
like
good
that
shots in
too.
this. I'm
Yeah.
interested to hear what Danny has to say about the romance because, like, I honestly didn't think the romance was like I didn't think it was bad, but it's just more so. It's not like not bad. It's just it's not really there.
Which one? The
The
Chihuahua?
Clementine one. Oh, Chihuahua. Is that what Danny was talking about that I didn't like?
No, no, I'm talking about Clementine.
Because I like Clementine's like barely in the movie, which I
No, I liked
appreciate.
her a lot more this time too.
Like it's
Um, Also, I mean, you guys brought up a lot of stuff that even Tag Gallagher brings up in the book that I was going to mention. Um, but first, Blake brought up Hong Kong movies, and I was listening to this podcast called the Great Movies Podcast. Like, I guess they apparently do all of Roger Ebert's great movies. But this one they were doing My Darling Clementine, and one of the hosts brought up. He said he loves this movie. Has this relationship that he loves in movies where, um, I think he says something like, "Bros that shouldn't be bros end up being bros anyway." Talking about
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Doc and Fonda,
It
and then
definitely
he
takes
brought
that.
up another director that he'd been watching recently too. What director do you think he brought up?
Like in terms of the
Yeah, that dynamic that he also has
bros,
this.
bros being bros that are not bros.
No, bros that shouldn't be bros that end up being bros anyway.
Um,
Like you think they're
Probably
not
some
gonna
like
like each other, and then they
Are you
probably
just end
some
up
like
like.
talking
John
from
Woo
Hong
shit.
Kong? Yeah, John Woo for sure.
Well,
Or
he brought up
Chang
Johnny
Ching.
Toe.
Johnny Toe too.
Oh,
Yeah, he
yeah,
brought up Johnny
same
Toe
thing. Same
There's a lot
thing.
of them.
because he brought up Throwdown and Exiled, and it was funny that he brought up Throwdown too because like they're not similar tonally wise, but like some of the shots in the bar where like it's really dark, and you can just see the silhouettes, kind of had some Throwdown vibes. Where we talking about the bar scenes in those, like with just the all the backlighting and the silhouettes of the people.
Yeah.
Uh, and then Peter Labuza, he was also one of the hosts on the episode, and he's like a Hollywood scholar. He uh, he even called Johnny Toe the Ford of our era, and he knows a lot about John Ford too. So I thought that was kind of interesting because we
Okay.
brought that up last week. Um, but actually the main question, like, because you brought up the romance, and so first I was gonna basically Tag Gallagher. He says the main split of this movie is between, you could say, civilization and wilderness, you
Yeah.
know, and like how Tag Gallagher always like has the typical Ford hero is basically this guy that basically saves the town, and like a lot of westerns, and then they go off on their way alone.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the reading Luke was giving, right?
Yeah. That's
Like
yeah. No.
after he civilizes, he still has to go back into the wilderness. Like he has that Doc Holiday in
We're
him
gonna
still,
revisit that too with the searchers. Which
Yes.
That's just completely different though. Like that
Okay.
ending
See,
is
this
so
is
much different than this one. To me,
mm,
I don't know.
well, and then Tag Gallagher says Liberty Balance actually will ask the exact same question: can land where people aim to live free, quote unquote, be founded on wilderness law? And he says,
yes.
My Darling Clementine asks the same kind of question. And so, Tag Gallagher takes that route. But it's funny because when I watched the movie the second time, it's like I really didn't read it that way. Like I don't read it as more of some of, he has these other ones where the guy goes on as like even Young Mr. Lincoln, even though it's like playing patriotic music, it feels kind of like a sacrifice. Like he's going on to Capitol Hill now, like by himself. There's like even thunderstorms a little bit and stuff. But this
Yeah.
one, it's like I actually do feel like he's going to come back at some point.
Hmm.
Uh, and so like I actually read this other article by Mary P. Nichols. It's called "Heroes and Political Communities in John Ford's Westerns: The Role of Wyatt Earp in My Darling Clementine." And she literally brings up Tag Gallagher's this kind of dichotomy he makes, and she basically disagrees with him, and she says like instead of opposed to Gallagher's wilderness versus civilization conflict that he creates, she says the film actually presents the complex triumph of lawmen, both physical and moral, over outlaws. And so basically, what she's saying is like this film is actually making a more kind of nuanced take of how it maybe is possible to be a complex lawman, as she says it, rather than just be an outlaw. And you either have to choose outlaw or love, you know. And
Hmm.
and I'll read what she says, where she says, "Quote: Most critics assume that the movie implies that Wyatt will never return. That this is the film's view of Wyatt, however, is dubious. We have no reason to support that Wyatt is a man who raises false hopes, and every reason to support that he is a man of his word. Uh, and we have seen changes that Ford made in the script itself, all of which support a view of Wyatt's developing erotic and social inclinations. Ford suggests that in spite of the tensions within themselves that men like Earp face, it is possible to do what the bartender thought he could not do, to do one's work and also be in love. It is not that East and West are two value systems that a self-contained man can for a moment internalize, but that in East and West, Ford has externalized the tensions within human beings that form more or less precarious balances at all moments of life. So basically, saying this point, like Ford is actually saying it is possible, you know, to kind of uh, bring these two opposing tensions of wilderness and civilization in this kind of wider character. And she's
Yeah.
basically, you know, opposed to Tad Gallagher's reading. And it's funny because I actually kind of agree with her, at least with this film. Even though with like most of the Ford films I've seen, I kind of agree with her. With Gallagher, it's like this one I kind of disagree. You know,
Mhm.
uh, and I don't know if you read like how I don't know if you remember this part. Ford originally he filmed uh, the ending as a handshake.
Okay. Yeah.
Like they just shake hands and then he leaves. And
Yeah.
apparently, the producer Daryl Zanuck, he test screened it, and apparently a lot of people laughed. And so then he got a scene reshot with him kissing her on the cheek, and Ford
Yeah.
hated that. Uh, like, and it was like apparently one of the reasons that he ended up like basically starting his own studio with some other people called and that
Yeah.
they're the ones that made Fort Apache, the next movie we're doing.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like one of the main reasons. And Daryl Zanuck actually filmed some other scenes too for this film, so it wasn't like Ford didn't have his like total control. And that was like one of the things that
Yeah.
annoyed him about this one. Uh,
Still amazing though.
it's still a great movie, but like
Yeah.
apparently that like he cut a lot of the extra comedy that Ford had shot for it, like 30 minutes of comedy.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
uh, honestly, he actually added one of my favorite scenes to the movie too. Is the scene with Wyatt Earp at the grave at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
It's like such a Ford moment. I was like, this has to be
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
like you know it reminds me of the Young Mr. Lincoln scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's
straight out of
honestly
Young
pretty
Mr.
good.
Lincoln.
Yeah,
Except it's
but
not as funny as it was.
also Peter Labuza pointed this out. In that like this movie is almost all diegetic music, which is great. It's one of the
Yeah.
best parts of the movie. Even
That's
like with the theme song, a lot of times like he's whistling in the movie and stuff, you know.
yeah.
But that scene actually has added music to it after when he's at the grave, non-diegetic.
Yeah.
So
One
it's like
one
maybe
one
that's a
of the
clue.
songs in this movie is very easy to pick.
I mean, yeah. I think I was looking up on Wikipedia or something. I don't remember. No, oh yeah, I looked up the My Darling Clementine song on YouTube to read the
Yeah.
comments, and no one was bringing up My Darling Clementine the like movie. They were bringing up like Eternal Sunshine apparently has it.
So wait,
Uh,
was the song made for the movie?
I think so.
I need to
Like,
look it
see,
up.
someone's like the first comment. The long walk brought me here.
The Long Walk? No fucking way. The movie that came out this year about like them walking a lot or
Last
something.
year.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was last year. Oh, that sounded like an old movie to me, so I wasn't sure if that was before My Darling
No, no,
Clementine.
there's a movie
Is
that
Damn,
that
came
is
out
that
like
what I'm
last
thinking
year
of?
called The
I
Long
might
Walk.
be.
I kind of remember the
Yeah,
trailer
The
for it
Long
or
Walk
something.
2025. But
Yeah, that one has 82 likes. Someone commented, "Who's here after Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?"
oh,
Someone
actually,
else listening to this after finishing Banana Fish. What the fuck is Banana Fish?
Banana Fish.
Is that a movie or like a
These
show or
these are all
something?
like coworker movies. I feel like.
The Walking Dead brought me here, and Eternal Sunshine. That's what I'm
So
saying. Like,
actually,
no one's even talking about the movie. I'm like, what?
that funnily enough, apparently it actually predated the movie
Oh, interesting.
because it was like
I didn't want to say it predated the movie because you got us with our Christmas movie, because that one I
Oh
could have swore
yeah.
would have predated that Meet Me in St. Louis, but I feel this one feels like
See, the
an old
song
song.
is dated 1884.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, I like what you were saying about that female critic though, because I like you said, like nothing in his words or his actions make me think that he's not going to come back, because that's exactly what I thought. Like I agree with her whenever she said that,
yeah, maybe I've
because
been so predispositioned. I don't know if that's how you say that
I
word.
don't. Yeah,
By like
maybe.
other Western heroes that would definitely not come back, that I'm
Well, I
just
think
kind
it's
of
also
assuming.
like I don't like he's not going back into the wilderness at the end. Like he said he's going back to his dad to tell him like
Yeah,
to be with his parents. So like that's way different than going
yeah,
back into the wilderness to me. And
Predisposed
one
to
of the
go.
reasons why I think he's going to come back also is because he's a
100%.
family
Like,
guy.
because I think that's what makes him different than like Doc, where Doc just keeps leaving to go on these like mysterious robbery raids in Mexico or something. Like we don't even know what the fuck he's
Yeah,
doing. Where
he's
like
your
I mean,
unemployed friend on Tuesday.
why it's actually doing something honorable, where he's going to tell his dad that he's lost two of his sons. You know, like
Yeah,
it's not like it's kind of a different reason where he's just like, oh, I have to be in the West to do my thing, kind of thing. It's like he has like actually a clear goal why he has to leave. It would actually feel almost more selfish if he stayed for Clementine,
yeah,
without telling his dad. Um, and like she does make this point where like basically you could say this movie's is Wyatt experiencing Doc and Clementine and basically and Chihuahua too, and them changing his mind on if it's possible to have these things. Basically seeing how Doc
yeah,
ends up and like that's why I think you brought up the Shakespeare scene as being great, but I think it's a really important scene in the movie too, in this idea of like Wyatt may be seeing for himself that it's also possible to be smart like Doc is,
yeah.
while also being this kind of outlaw character that he is.
I've heard
Uh,
people say like that kind of like the kind of like Shakespeare like low art Shakespeare kind of is like how Ford feels. Like people make that
Interesting.
connection. Like oh he's like a like
Well,
like diet
I don't know if
Shakespeare
a what Shakespeare.
like a
Interesting. Yeah.
great value Shakespeare
Okay.
in terms of like
Well, like
in
I don't even know if you have to say great value because this is something Peter Labuza brought up in this my
low
podcast
art.
episode I was talking about was now Shakespeare is understood as like high art, right? Like
Yeah,
like high drama, but when Shakespeare was first writing, he was actually more considered lowbrow or like lowbrow art,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
more for the people. There was a lot of these. He would talk about a lot of these traveling kind of Shakespearean artists that wouldn't actually do the whole plays, but they would just do the famous scenes that people knew, and that's how
yeah,
Shakespeare spread for a long time, especially in like this old west like we're seeing right now, and that's how Shakespeare spread a lot in America and other parts of the world too. But now it's understood as high art, But like I don't even think you have to say the great value version. Like John Ford is trying to be both at the same time. Like these were studio
yeah,
films. That's what I cannot believe these are studio films. It's just like if someone made a film like this now that looks so good, this good, it would be like it'd be a miracle.
yeah.
But it's just crazy.
Damn, yeah. So you like this movie more than last time?
I think so. I think I like this even more than Fort Apache too. Honestly.
Ooh, damn. I mean, they're both amazing movies, though.
So how much do you guys know about Wyatt Earp?
Not a ton,
Not
honestly.
much.
Because like this is another thing where like if you were watching this in the '40s, everyone knew who Wyatt Earp was at the
Yeah,
time.
like he's like a
Like
famous
he was
kind
a
of like
famous character.
Tombstone is in general
Uh,
too.
Tombstone. Like a lot of people actually know. Like I think Tombstone's like a '90s movie or something.
Yeah, there is like
With Kurt
a
There's
Russell.
a few. Yeah, there's a
because like
few
everyone
different
who loves that
Tombstone
movie is
movies,
like
I
really
think.
annoying about it.
Yeah, I know people like
I
that has a
haven't
huge
seen
cult
it, but it
following.
looks really
Uh,
good. I haven't seen it, but it does look really good. So
yeah, there's also
Honestly,
Doc Holliday. There's a guy named Doc Holliday in it too. Val Kilmer plays Doc Holliday. Kurt Russell
and
plays Wyatt.
well, and Ward Bond I think is in. There was a 1939 movie called Frontier Marshal. I forgot what movie year it came out. It's called Frontier Marshal. It was another wider movie, and apparently, it was Alan Dwan a movie called Frontier Marshal. And
Frontier
Ford
Marshal.
screened it, and he said, "quote Shit, I can do better than that." And that's why he started. That's why he decided to make My Darling
oh,
Clementine.
Okay. Oh, Joel
But
I
director.
mean, you know, another movie that we love, Luke, that's Wyatt Earp based,
No.
Wichita.
Oh
oh
shit!
shit, I
Yeah, I
forgot that was
forgot
Wyatt
about
Earp.
that. I forgot about that. Yeah, damn. Wait, Danny, have you seen Wichita?
I don't think so.
That's
You
crazy.
need to.
Yeah, because Joel McCree plays Wyatt Earp. Yeah.
I mean, we already made the Ford connection with Stars of My Crown and
That's true.
Young Mr.
Another
Lincoln.
McCree movie.
Yeah,
Damn. Yeah, this though obviously it's set in Wichita, Kansas, not Tombstone.
Well, yeah, yeah.
but
But
apparently, when Ford was working on the silent movies in the 20s, that he met Wyatt Earp quite a few times, like on sets and stuff, because like Wyatt Earp was still alive, and
he didn't like anything.
and like John Ford says, quote, Wyatt Earp told me about the fight at OK Corral, so in My Darling Clementine, we did exactly the way it had been, unquote. But Tag Gallagher immediately says right after, like, most of Earp's tales were total blarney, in his words.
Damn.
You don't hear that word anymore, too, which is funny, but
Blarney.
blarney.
Sounds like Barney,
Um,
the dinosaur, the purple dinosaur.
I know, I used to love Barney, dude.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Now I just think of the Drewski video where he's like, I don't know if he's Barney necessarily, but he's in like some like kid's costume and like they're doing the dance like in front of like he's like the actor. And like it starts with like him on the show like normal and then immediately cuts to break and he like takes off his mask and he's like smoking a cig. He like
I think I've
just
seen
being
it,
like a
yeah.
terrible guy, like right offset. It's just a funny
Yeah, yeah.
Drewski skit. Like that's all I think about when I
We
think of
need to do a
Barney
podcast
now.
episode where we like get a few Drewski skits and then analyze them.
I mean he had a masterpiece kind of recently. The church
The
one? The mega
which
church
one?
one?
Okay, yeah, the mega church one that was
The
great.
mega church one's crazy.
I think the work wife one though is like is that
I mean, he's
that's
got a lot of
2000
top tier. He's
is
got a
that
lot of.
2001? I don't know, maybe.
That could be a good episode, low key. Honest, just Drewski's. But but apparently they just made up the rest of the movie outside of just the OK Corral fight. So it's like not even really. It's not. Tag Out even says this is more a movie about John Ford's experiences after the war than anything about Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting too. Think about it from
No,
that perspective.
because kind of the war thing kind of mirrors like the transition from World War One to World War Two, and kind of the way like uh they're like where are they coming from again? The Wyatt Earp and his brothers, like they're coming from.
Did they ever say?
They're like
It's from
coming.
a different town.
Yeah, it's like a different town.
It's a famous Wyatt Earp town apparently too, in like his stories. It's like Deer City or something like that.
Yeah, but like them coming from that town and immediately getting involved with another one. It's kind of like the U.S. going out of World War One and then immediately getting involved with World War Two when they really didn't want to, and kind of like the sadness that
Interesting.
kind of came along with it. Anyway,
Also, like, damn, I forgot, you said that. And I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh well,
damn.
I'll remember. I'll
No, we
remember
were.
randomly at some point.
'Cause I think in the last city he was in, he was marshalling as well. I think that's why. Like you could say, like,
Actually, this is what I was gonna say. Like, you can kind of tell in the movie. I love how it's left unsaid, but there's just little hints that why, like, both of them are great gunmen. You know.
yeah,
And I'm just thinking about if this was made today, it would be fucking 2.5 hours, and all those would be like flashbacks with like fully fleshed out scenes, of like some doc flashback where we got to see,
How good he is with his
how,
gun.
yeah, and like how like what he's doing in Mexico and stuff, or like what a flashback to what Wyatt and his brothers were doing before they got to the town near the town and stuff. Like all this movie is just so efficient for how much
We would have
like,
had an
emotion.
entire scene. We would have had an entire scene at the beginning establishing the dad's connection with his sons, so that the ending hit harder.
yeah.
Dude,
You
just
see
from the little moments how
Elrod.
the father, even just from the little moments how he treats his sons, like you get so much from like what their dynamic is like.
Oh yeah.
I mean, especially
Well,
the
I was
opening
talking.
scene.
I was talking about. I was talking about Wyatt Earp's dad, who's not in the
True.
movie at all.
That's true. We definitely would have got some shots of his
A farewell
face.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, farewell scene at the very beginning of the movie.
Uh,
Oh, man. Anyway, we could go ahead and get into it. Um, into My Darling Clementine. Obviously, we get kind of like the great, theme song opening, like the big husky Southern
Sing
guy,
it, Luke.
very deep voice. Um, I'm not gonna sing it. I don't. I'm gonna do injustice to it, but it is very catchy.
Can you whistle it?
I can't whistle. I'm gonna be honest.
How shrill.
Yeah,
I mean, with no practice.
low
That's
key,
very
like
good.
kind of did that shit, bro. Um, but yeah, like basically, yeah, basically we see pretty much we're introduced to Wyatt and his brothers. Which actually, as you mentioned Wichita, there's a very memorable scene in Wichita with him and his brothers, and the reveal that they are his brothers. But anyway, I just remembered that scene.
That's
That scene's
true.
amazing. But yeah, basically, they kind of like meet old man Clanton and his kind of like his sons, and like Clanton tells them about Tombstone. Wyatt Earp doesn't really want to like get involved in it,
Well,
but
see,
yeah,
this
they'll
is
listen
why
to
he
him.
reminds me so much of Johnny Toe, just because he literally just drops you right in the fucking movie. Like,
Yeah, he's
they're
kind
just
of
a cattle driving. Like, you're like, who are these guys? I
and Clan's like, oh
love
yeah,
it.
you can leave your cattle here. We won't
Like, you can
mind.
already tell they're villains like right away. Like
Yeah, you
we
don't.
should
They're
be
super
suspicious of them.
super shady. And Wyatt Earp decides, you know what, I'm gonna go into town, leave my one brother to guard them.
The youngest one.
Yeah, the youngest one.
I mean,
Um,
we can tell they don't really suspect the Clanton family, which when they should, you know.
yeah. I don't. You should never trust Walter Brennan. He's just like shady guy. Unless he's Stumpy, then you can trust him with your life.
It's true.
But
Well, can you
yeah,
though? I
the
mean, he did like hide all of them behind dynamite by accident, so you can't really.
by
At the very end, they were like hiding behind dynamite or whatever, and he almost got someone killed because of
yeah, but like you take that, you take those.
that.
You got to forgive him for that. But
I forgive
yeah,
him.
Wyatt Earp goes into town. He just wants a heckin' shave. He really wants to shave, and he gets really annoyed when when
I'll
basically like the
just.
barber's like trying to talk to him about other stuff. And he's like, no, I just want this shave. Shut the fuck up.
It's also hilarious that this guy's a barber and a dentist. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
which
what's
that's
he gonna
probably
do?
accurate back in the day, but
Yeah. But yeah, basically we get kind of like this. Like, there's a native Native American. Sorry, I hear myself slightly in the background. It's kind of tripping me up, but uh, we see this kind of Native American going wild, or we hear him going wild in this like bar in town, and the current police force is very kind of like stingy because Tombstone in general is just a very lawless place, as we come to learn. But yeah, like no, everyone's too much of a coward to go in there, except for Wyatt Earp, because he's this is interrupting his shave. That's kind of like his reason for doing it. So he just kind of like waltzes on in there and just kind of like uh shoot, like fixes it himself, which is great.
it's one of the best shots in the movie too. Whenever he
Yeah,
just
because it's
drags him
all it's all
out.
like, yeah. We never go inside the bar at all. We just He kind of waltzes on in there. We get a few like maybe it's like a few closer like angled shots of him going in, but like he just kind of goes in and just like somehow just like subdues him and just drags him out there and is
He
like, there you
grabs he
go.
grabs a rock and knocks him out.
And this is all while still having like the
So
shaving cream
good.
on his face too, which is great. And then like basically like as soon as it happens, he doesn't want any glory. He just wants to get his shave done and get out of there. Um, and then he also gets obviously offered the job as marshal or sheriff, marshal. I don't know what the difference is
Marshall, yeah.
between the two, but yeah, he obviously declines it because he's like, I'm on my way to wherever he's going. He doesn't want to stop. but he then very quickly changes his mind because of um sorry, I hear
Clementine.
the echo. I hear the echo again. It's trivia. Uh, he he
I don't know why it's only you.
no, I don't know what's up with it, but
Is your laptop on? Like the audio's mute your
oh,
laptop.
do my earbuds.
Maybe unplug your earbuds and plug them back in. Now try.
Hello,
I
hello,
didn't hear an echo then.
hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I don't hear
Yeah, I
myself.
think you're good.
Okay, should I go back to the bar
Yeah,
screen?
I'll cut it out. I'll cut out.
Okay.
I'll try to make it make sense.
But yeah, basically we never go inside the saloon. The camera never does. He just kind of goes in there. We see him go in there and then kind of just subdue him.
Yeah.
Come out, and then he saves the day, and then he gets offered. Well, all this while he has shaving cream on his face, and like immediately after it's done, he just wants to go back to get his shave and get out of there because he's had enough of this town already. But yeah, he also gets offered Marshall this the title of Marshal, but he declines it obviously because he says he has places to be. But then that he very quickly changes his mind because he goes back to his brother that he left, and then he's dead. And it's
And their
like
Yes.
cattle are stolen.
yeah, it's like
And the
raining and
cat.
shit. Damn yeah. So and then basically it's like oh man, this movie goes by so fast because it's like immediate cut to him walking into like the who's the guy that was it the mayor who offered him the job? Who's the guy like
Actually, I'm
was
not
that
sure.
his name?
There's so obviously some guy that has some authority, but
I thought it
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
previous marshal.
is it? Oh, it might be.
I have no idea. Like that's what that was
We
because it
do
was
know
like
there's a previous marshal that's scared to do anything.
exactly because it looked like the same guy to me that was offering the position, but I don't know.
yeah. Like he basically whoever this guy is, he just kind of walks into his house middle of the night. He's like the guy's still in his pajamas and stuff, and just goes like, I accept the job as marshal. Um, and then when he goes into the hotel or whatever to get a room, he runs into Old Man Clanton, and they kind of have like a little like passive aggressive ass standoff where he's like, "Yeah, my brother was killed this evening," and he's like, the Clanton's like, "Oh, what a shame. Gosh." Even though like he
Well, and
definitely
then they get kind of scared whenever he says he's staying out as marshal, and then they get a little bit more scared whenever he says his
yeah.
name.
Yeah, no,
Oh yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
see
yeah.
them look up like because they're not worried about him until he says, "Yeah, I'm staying on as marshal," and then they like look up like all of a sudden,
Yeah, they're like,
like
oh
you can tell
shit.
they're worried about it a little bit.
No, yeah.
Especially I think after they hear his name too, Wyatt Earp.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like, I mean I'd definitely be my jimmies would be rustled.
I
For
mean, you
sure.
just said you didn't know who Wyatt Earp was, though. That's what I was saying. Like these guys in the movie,
I
they've
say
heard of
that?
Wyatt Earp the name before. I mean, I asked you guys if you knew anything about Wyatt Earp. You said not really.
Oh, me if I knew anything
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh,
Because you just
yeah.
said you'd be scared, but I was saying like the reason why they're scared is because they know who Wyatt Earp is, like as
No, that's
like
what I'm
what
saying.
he's.
If I knew Wyatt Earp as like the famous gunfighter type deal,
See, the
like
thing is, we wouldn't know who he is, so we'd be like, "Oh, this guy. Who cares? I don't give a fuck who you are. Like, you're just Wyatt Earp to me. Like, it's just any old name."
was he like the LeBron James of like gunfighters?
I mean, I guess he was known for being like this kind of outlaw type that like I said, he apparently made up a lot of his stories and like one of the biographies that a lot of these movies and like shows were based on. But
Hmm.
he
So
was
he was
this
like
kind
the
of
cream
outlaw
of the
type.
crop.
I get like I don't know how true it's like this one of the things like how true the stories you hear about him
Or the
versus like what
Jesse
he actually
James
did.
guy was probably more right.
Maybe
I don't
he
know.
seems a little more accurate. But actually, the only funny thing I forgot where I heard this, but Wyatt Earp, like he was no like at least the way he told himself, he was this like great kind of a heroic figure. But apparently, like before he got popular for the shows and stuff, what he was most known for was in like I think it was in Kansas City. There was a boxing fight, a really famous boxing fight. The boxers were named like Sharkey and Fitzsimmons, if I remember correctly, and
Sharky.
Sharkey versus Fitzsimmons, You can still look it up on
Oh,
Wikipedia. Wyatt Earp was the ref for that fight, and
No.
he apparently a lot of people knew him because they thought the fight was rigged because he called the fight off when he called an illegal hit on one of the boxers, but almost all the witnesses there say there was no one saw any illegal hit. It was, and
hmm.
so people think Wyatt Earp was like rigging the fight for this other guy,
The
uh,
hell?
and that's what he
He
was
was
most known for, even more than as like this kind of outlaw stuff. I mean, that makes him sound like more like an outlaw in like reality, you know. But
Yeah,
it's just kind of funny. Like this,
yeah,
like versus this Wyatt Earp we get, you know, where he's supposed to be like we kind of trust him to come back to Clementine at the end and stuff. It's like
yeah,
it's just like yeah, not really based on the real guy.
yeah. Maybe that's why Tag is more like pessimistic about him.
That's true.
If I had to guess, he's more pessimistic just because that's the typical Ford hero, you know.
Yeah, I guess that's the reason why
Uh,
I kind of read it that way.
but I
But
actually like even when you were describing these kind of scenes of like, because you were describing Wyatt Earp earlier as like this guy that wants to get he just wants to get through the city, right?
yeah,
But I think it's Clementine will like because during these opening scenes, you're really seeing him like, oh, I just want to pass. I'm just passing through. You know, I don't really care. Blah blah blah. Then at like
Yeah.
once Doc and Clementine show up, he's like kind of glad to stay there. You know, he's like there's a lot of scenes of him just taking his time walking around. You know, like almost like just enjoying the sunlight versus like how excited he is just to pass through. And I mean,
yeah,
part of the motivation is obviously he wants to get revenge for his brother,
yeah.
but I think a lot of it is because it's just Doc and Clementine as well.
Okay. No, yeah, definitely. But we get the scene at the grave that we kind of mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Um, talking to his brother.
Classic Ford scene. We
Yeah.
thought it still fits in the Ford movie though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But um then I think we kind of get a scene, the first scene at the bar where we meet like Chihuahua and like Doc Holliday. I think we first meet him too.
Yeah.
Like he's like playing poker. Um, and then I think yeah, he kind of like he does the thing where he catches Clementine like cheating or whatever, and then like kind of like takes her outside and like berates her about it, and like dunks her in the water too, which is like kind of funny. uh, he's basically like I feel like he's kind of just like he's putting his stamp on like the town, like um trying to like establish his presence in a lot of these scenes because he's kind of the newbie marshal in this like lawless town, and we see a similar thing with he does with Doc Holliday, because like Doc Holliday he kind of like he kind of runs the shit. Like he definitely is like his like the way he like tells that one guy to like get out of town and everyone listens to him. And then like even then like afterwards like when him and Wyatt Earp start talking, Wyatt Earp like tells him like, "Yo, like you can't do that. Like that's not your authority. That's mine." Like
Basically,
I
like it's kind of setting up as like they're going to be the two kind of people that
yeah,
have the conflict, right? Or like Blake said, you think Doc's going to be the villain
yeah.
when you first see him.
Like the way like he's like sitting at the like standing at the end of the bar and then like Wyatt Earp like approaches him is great.
Yes. No, a
He
lot. These are
seems like
so
the
tense
villain.
too. These
Yeah.
shots.
He seems like the villain. He also gives me like Robert Mitchum vibes, though. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
Honestly, I
definitely.
can see that.
Or like Dean Martin
Okay, yeah, yeah.
in Rio Bravo. But even
Definitely
they
see
still
that.
like there's still a bit of like a you think they're gonna be tense and then like when they start talking they're like kind of getting along with each other like
They are.
Well, that's what it's kind of. That's what it's like. I think you're like, oh, they could be friends too, but I guess
yeah
they're fated to be villains. You know,
yeah
you see a
yeah
lot of
yeah
movies like that.
yeah I guess so
Actually, even Manhunter is kind of like that. I mean, that one's like more extreme because it's like a serial killer, but that has a classic. We even mentioned John Woo. The
you
killer
and
has
your
the same kind of theme of like the killer and the hero
yeah
kind of being more similar than
you and your
either
serial
That's
one
killer
fair.
was.
moods.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Did we
those
get
are
that
the those.
on video? I don't, or on the call? Did you say that off the call when you said I'm
That was
just
off the
in this
call.
when it's snowing? I get in a serial killer mood. I'm like,
I
all
mean,
right, cool.
that's just like most of America with true crime podcasts and stuff. So I'm not alone there.
It's true.
It's just the way you said it. It was just kind of crazy. But
The way they're framed too, like with the light, like when all the lights that like kind of recede into the background while they're both sitting, talking to each
yeah,
other. Because that's when like Doc, you think like I think does Doc pull his gun or not when all
He does, yeah.
yeah, he pulls his gun and then Fonda reveal he's not really worried because he has his brothers behind him just like ready. So
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
I don't think Doc knew that initially that
Damn,
he had
yeah,
No,
backup.
he definitely don't. He definitely don't. Because it switches everything around because he basically makes him drink champagne with him whenever he wants whiskey, but then at the very end they're drinking whiskey because he sees his brothers there.
Yeah,
Because he has
yeah,
that great thing where he like drinks the whiskey at first and then he coughs.
yeah.
yeah.
Can't
Damn.
handle it.
Um, yeah,
Also, this has the classic moment of I mean, it's all throughout this movie of if you see a character cough in a movie, it's just like the worst thing possible. Like they're
especially a
basically about to
West.
die.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
if
especially at
it's
this time.
any time where modern medicine is not good.
But even when there is modern medicine in movies, that's like
Yes,
if you see someone cough, like it's basically over for them.
I guess so.
You never just see coughing normally in a movie, just like how coughing normally happens in life. Where you just cough every once in a while. Like
Yeah, but
it's just funny.
um,
I mean,
but
this
then
is maybe maybe if you haven't seen the movie, I know Blake. This was Blake's first time. I knew this scene happens, but maybe one of the biggest shifts too. Like you're in this like Western bar, and then all of a sudden you're watching a Shakespeare play. You're like, wait, what?
yeah, yeah,
This time is
because
Shakespeare? Like,
one actor kind of walks in and is like, "Yeah, I'm putting it on." Like
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a little
and like
hat.
how excited the town is too is kind of uplifting.
Yeah,
Like I don't even
definitely.
think nowadays you could get people excited for like Shakespeare play or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Um, because yeah, because they're like waiting on the play to start, and then the guy's like not showing up, and
Yeah,
so Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday go and try and find him, and this is when we get the to be or not to be seen, which this scene's just
Great scene.
incredible. Like you get like
yeah,
the kind of like outlaws kind of like harassing and kind of like making fun of the Shakespeare, like performing the lines for them. Um, and then
Then they
like
get
when they
offended
tell him
by
to
it.
stop, Doc Holliday just like steps in all of a sudden, like, no, I want to hear more.
Well,
Like,
they tell them to
let me
stop
finish.
because they get like offended by it and shit.
Yeah.
They're starting to get offended by it. So.
And then obviously like the Shakespeare actor like he's like keeps going, then he like forgets his lines, and then asks Doc Holliday to continue on them, and then like Doc Holliday finishes them, and the shot of Doc Holliday finishing them, like his eyes, the
yeah.
smoke
That's what
behind him, like oh god, it's just
it's insane.
what an incredible moment.
His hat tilted to the side, just like
Yeah,
creating a shadow like just above his face. Oh my god.
damn. Like honestly, that could be like our that could be a picture we choose for this episode. Just that still.
Damn, so we're gonna use a I
Or
mean I support
no,
it, but
oh,
we're gonna use a picture without Clementine or Fonda in it. Like,
okay, but see,
it
I
is
don't.
maybe the best image in the movie, I'm not gonna lie.
There's also the Fonda where he's like just like laying back, you know.
There's
Like
also a really good image of like right before we get to the close up of Doc. It's one with Fonda and Doc both kind of in a medium close up as they're both watching the play. That's
Yeah.
really good too. They're both
okay,
like kind
yeah,
of arms on their knees as they're
yeah,
watching. But
yeah,
I mean, if you think of another, I'll add it to the maybe list.
yeah, maybe.
If you want, if you can think of a different movie, I
This
mean, a different
movie it
image
just
if you
has
want
like
to
it
use
has like
before the end.
a
I
million
mean,
great
just the
shots.
last shots are like insane.
They are.
it's yeah, that's tough. But yeah, they take him to the theater, and then we cut to the next day. And honestly, this scene also I said to be the to be or not to be seen was probably my favorite scene in the movie. But Clementine's arrival is probably right up there with it. Like the scene where she arrives on the stagecoach and kind of like Wyatt Earp kind of like takes him up there. Like it's just like I remember
Yes.
Tag Gallagher in the video essay about this movie talked about the scene,
Well,
and like
I
the
have a
scene.
quote from the book. I don't know if it's the same one he uses in the video essay,
Yeah,
but this is to me what made Clementine. Because I read the portion of the book before I watched it the second time, and it kind of helped me.
yeah,
It made me appreciate the Clementine stuff a lot more because he makes this point how. Actually, let me just read the quote first. He says, quote, "A peculiar thing is that the movie's two plot lines, the nightmare, which is like basically the Clantons, all that stuff, and Clementine, he says those are the two plot lines. They never touch. In any other movie, the heroine would sob for the hero's safety. Not here. War and peace never connect. They unfold in separate spheres. Their separateness is clear the first time Wyatt sees Clementine. She's sudden magic, a whole new world. His gaze makes the space between them indefinite. The counterpoint of the line of posts reinforces the effect. One post divides the screen and separates Wyatt from Clementine. He's in one sphere, inside the porch above her. She's in a second sphere, outside, and there's a bar blocking her, like the post blocking him. The music tells us already she's, quote, lost forever, unquote. Indeed, the movie's title was already a yearning. A yearning is all the stronger for being in separate spheres, unquote.
Yeah.
And especially, the way you see them divided
Yeah.
from the opening. And he's right, like, there is some music playing in the background, too. It's just such a stunning shot.
Just the way, yeah, and just the way, like the way they
All the
like walk
poster
up,
framing.
and the way they like he like walks her to her room, and just kind of like all like the little like gestural like stuff that tell a lot.
I mean, because do you remember the other movie we already reviewed that has a post separating two characters that we also described as like
Oh yeah,
worlds?
young Mr. Lincoln and
Young Mr.
the
Lincoln with Anne
Richardson.
Rutledge.
Yeah.
And then he also compares. I also talked about how Hugh and How Green Was My Valley is like struck by I forgot the girl's name in that movie, the character's name in that movie, where basically he's like in love with her right away too.
Oh yeah.
It's just he says the same kind of sudden magic. And then we haven't watched The Quiet Man yet, but he says it's going to happen to Sean Thornton too in The Quiet Man. The same thing.
Oh
It's
yeah,
kind of just being
yeah.
like, being suddenly struck by a
Yeah,
woman.
oh man, the Quiet Man's. Oh yeah, that's Quiet Man's very memorable, mainly because of the color, but like
He
yeah.
does say only Sean's story will end happily. So
Let's
I
see.
guess you can
Yeah,
debate if
we've
this one
already,
ends happly. Yeah, we've already went through that
we
one.
already discussed that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like the one thing that I would disagree. Obviously, this is different than the Mr. Lincoln one because she dies immediately after. This one has a lot of scenes where that post is taken down, obviously, and he's able to actually be with her and touch her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, if he's
And
like, it is different in
I
that
agree
way.
with you. But I think Doc's character is the main reason why. Like he almost sees Doc as kind of like a warning sign, you could say almost.
Yeah,
He's almost like shocked by how like Doc is just like ignoring this girl. Like he's
yeah.
like, you just
Oh,
had a
he
woman like
definitely is.
travel the country chasing you, and you're just like ignoring her. Like what the fuck?
Damn.
I mean, he keeps on telling Clementine not to give up either. So
That is
Yeah.
true. Even though deep down he's like, just give up. Like
he's like, please choose
at least
me.
that's how it feels. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes him complicated because he's still kind of he's still doing the right thing technically. He's not letting his bro down, but
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, like I think we then see like basically this is when we like it's revealed like she's looking for Doc Holliday because
yes.
he
There's a quick
gets
scene. Okay, I have to mention this because they mentioned it has a word bond, but there's the quick scene of him ordering food. Do you remember how?
yeah.
Because I wrote it down. He orders so much fucking food. It's crazy. He orders a stack of buckwheat pancakes with plenty of molasses and a steak blood rare. That's already crazy. Just getting steak and pancakes at the same time, and then a couple hunks of bacon if you got some, and a big pot of coffee. That's his order. He just
Yeah.
yells at the beginning of the scene. I didn't even notice the first time. Like, holy
Like
shit,
that
this guy
one.
needs so much.
What's the I forgot which GTA game it was where the guy like orders the drive through like I want two number nines, number
That
five
would have been
large.
that's Warbond.
Yeah.
I wish we could have seen him eat that order too, because that would have been
For real, dude.
Damn,
a
yeah.
blood rare steak with pancakes in the morning. Like, damn,
I mean, steak and eggs is a classic breakfast.
This guy's a real eater.
that is true. But steak and like a hunk of bacon,
Damn,
all at
yeah.
the same time. At least wait for the pancakes. Like, fuck.
Damn. But yeah, we see Doc Holliday and Clementine talking, and she's like, "I came all this way for you." And he's like, "No, you gotta leave. Go back home."
It's like either you leave or I leave.
Yeah. Um. But
Then we see Doc go to his room alone too, because I think
Okay,
this is maybe the first time we learn, like, unless you've seen the movie before, like he's an actual doctor. Because he
yeah,
could just be
he's
called Doc for some reason, because we've only seen his like gangster side.
yeah.
But there's this great scene of him like going in his room, like looking at his diploma in the reflection.
And then
One of your
breaking
cats
it.
is going ham on your
It's
windowsill.
Italy,
Yeah,
probably.
damn. Italy, get over.
I
I
hear
wasn't
that.
sure
It's
if you could hear
really
that.
loud.
Oh yeah, we can
Like,
hear.
it's loud. We can hear it loud and clear.
Italy's just making himself known on the podcast.
Wait,
It's like
Italy on
trying to
the-
raise his
Those
hand.
are feels of all the bed.
Yeah, Italy. Damn.
But I think I mentioned this earlier with the Mary P. Scott, her review, where she says Ford actually added some scenes to the script to kind of emphasize basically why it's chasing Clementine and basically some of the other scenes. And she mentions two of the scenes he added. One is um, basically the opening scene where I think before we even see Doc go into his room, we see Clementine in there by herself looking through his room. I don't know if you guys remember that, but there's a quick scene like
Okay,
that.
yeah, I
Apparently
remember
Ford
that.
added because I think Wyatt's following her too
Yeah.
in that scene.
Like,
And then this
why
second scene
opens
where
her door goes into his door. It's like kind of like
yeah,
she's like
yes,
before
yes,
he's like
yes.
going to his room.
Yeah. But the second scene that Ford added was this scene in Doc alone in the room with his diploma and stuff, which I thought was kind of
Yeah.
interesting too. Because she says it's kind of maybe contrasting the character Doc is to what the character Wyatt wants to become, and she points out it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie of when Fonda gets his haircut and then he goes and looks at himself in the reflection after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like Doc basically sees his reflection and he's like just basically disgusted, and Fonda sees his reflection and he's kind of like hopeful. He's kind of happy, and she kind of sees that as like kind of split between like the two, maybe the future complex lawman versus like Doc as the more just outlaw type that can't get over his past.
Yeah. Damn.
So that was an
That's
interesting reading too.
That's really interesting. Because we jump straight from Doc Holliday, like him looking at like the medical school certificate or whatever diploma thing, and then he goes to the bar, and then Chihuahua kind of like sings that song to him, and she's like, Clementine's like, basically Chihuahua's like his like side chick right now, like his current like,
Definitely.
and like so it's like right after like the thing with Clementine, which is his past quarrel. He kind of like he's kind of interacting with Chihuahua now, and we kind of see more of their like dynamic. And I mean Chihuahua, you feel really bad for Chihuahua throughout this movie. Like she feels
Yes.
like kind of like, especially obviously she dies, but like just like I don't know, she just feels like an afterthought to everyone.
She dies, and there's definitely a big time implication that she was raped by that brother by one of the
I don't
clans.
think so.
Mm.
To me,
You don't
I think
think so?
she's no. I think it's like the way Luke said. Chihuahua's the side chick of Doc. Like she also has other men too, because she's kind of embarrassed by it more than like saying she got raped. Like the white like the clan brother gave her that gift when after like I think it's like she said it was right after this scene basically where Doc rejects her and like he says like go squall your little song somewhere else or something.
Yeah.
Because it's because she says originally like Doc, you gave me this gift. That's like how the whole one of the climax of the movie is. And then he's like, I didn't give you that. What are you talking about? She's like, no, you were drunk. You did give it to me. And he's like, I know I didn't give you that. And that's when because that's why she's embarrassed to say like who actually gave it to her. I feel like she would have just admitted like I got like it wouldn't make sense if she got raped and then like oh here's a gift after. I mean I guess that could have happened, but
I mean,
the way she's hiding it, I read it as like she's just more embarrassed.
That's
like
what happens when you get to.
that is true. I mean, to me, the way I read it is like she's just embarrassed because she didn't want to also admit like
Maybe
she was
no,
cheating
yeah.
on him.
No, I can see that too. I can see that too.
She seems more embarrassed by anything. Like she got a gift from some other guy.
Yeah.
Cause she,
Um, then
but
we
the next scene
see
is Wyatt getting
Wider.
his
Yeah,
haircut.
or no,
My favorite.
Wyatt comes into the bar.
Oh yeah, he talks
With,
to Doc too, doesn't he?
yeah, he's like, oh, you have to go travel far away to find a woman as finer than her. And then Doc like continues to like be on his like sad boy shit, you know.
Well, he said he
When
has a great Western line. He says it's quote, "It's time I tempted fate," which is like a
yeah,
classic,
and he like pulls out his
that
gun.
love about to die line.
Which one
Yeah.
of these guys do I not particularly like? Um, and like Whiteup's trying to talk him down, and then he like
Well, and
shoots
this
like
is
the
definitely
The
the
light
like
fixture.
like the
this is
light.
definitely the two sides of the same coin thing too, because Wyatt's basically just saying, how many guys do you think are just waiting for you to get shit faced, basically, so they can kill you and say they killed the great Doc Holliday?
Yeah,
Because you can definitely tell that Wyatt's experienced the same type of stuff like that, or people just coming after you because of your name, so to gain fame.
Mhm.
yeah. Damn. And the fact that like he like punches him, knocks him out, and then the piano guy just like waiting, looking at them, and then just starts playing the piano really like excitedly is like so funny. It's like
That's how the
so
scene ends. I think it just cuts to the guy
yeah,
playing
that's
the.
how it ends. He's like turning and looking, and then just continues, just goes right back to the piano. It's so funny. Um, no, but yeah, then we this is the shaving scene you'd already talked about. It's a great scene.
He gets the barber is excited about his new chair that he got
Yeah,
after
yeah,
the
yeah.
one breaks earlier.
Damn, yeah.
Fonda just
Oh, he doesn't. Okay, sorry, I just remembered because this is another scene where we have the Henry Fonda leaning back, like foot against the fence
yes
post.
yes
Ozu has a
yes.
quote about this movie, doesn't he?
I think I mentioned it last week. I'll have to
Oh,
find
did you
it.
mention that? Okay, because like
But
he's like, look at Henry Fonda, like uh something something. This is the greatness of John Ford or whatever.
yes, yeah.
Just remembered that.
I'm not exactly sure which exact scene he's talking about because he does it a few times where he's leaned up against this post.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably. I mean, probably all of them, for being honest. But yeah,
Yeah, he says another scene roused Ozu to exclaim, "Look at Henry Fonda leaning propped up in his chair in My Darling Clementine, motionless and expressionless. There's the greatness of John Ford."
yeah, damn, sheesh, damn. It's always great to see a director we've already done talk about another director we've done.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, but then yeah, we see like Chihuahua gets mad at Wyatt Earp. He does a little like ooh, 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 ooh thing on the post, and then
No, that's
um
later, I think.
no, it's right here.
Oh, is that right here?
Yeah, it's like because I guess right before that we see like the um I think it's like the church people, the pastor comes into town, right? On like the little
Yes,
wagon
yeah.
thing.
Well, the guy's
They talk
not
to the
pastor, but he's building a church.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I forgot to write the quote down, but Ford said, I mean, Gallagher says like this church scene is like a classic Ford, like almost religious scene where there's like not a real church, there's not a real sermon, and instead they just dance. Like that's
Yeah.
like almost like Ford's views on religion in general. Like he wasn't like maybe
Yeah.
devout, but he kind of believed in it. But
Because
it just feels almost if perfect as a Ford church, where this guy
because
just like barely gives a speech.
Clementine's about to leave, and then like basically that's when Wyatt Earp like asked to take her to the.
Yeah, it happens a little after this scene where
Well, it's all one like continuous thing.
it is all one, but we see Doc and Chihuahua talk to each other
Yeah,
first.
that too. Yeah.
Um, where he just basically tells her to leave.
Yeah. This Doc Holiday guy, he's a bit self-destructive.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell already, but yeah. Then we get
Wait, he does tell Doc. Doc does tell Chihuahua he wants to get married too. That's like right before the scene with Clementine and
Yeah.
Wyatt. You could say that's probably in there to like kind of be like to make Wyatt Earp not seem as bad of a guy almost, because like that happens right before where like it does feel like Doc likes Chihuahua more than Clementine. You know, like it does feel like he's actually moved on from Clementine.
Yeah,
Because like he asks Clementine to get married, and then it's the next scene where we see Clementine like really alone in this hotel, uh, where everyone else has gone to church and she's just sitting there alone in the lobby,
yeah.
and that's when Wyatt walks in whistling "My Darling Clementine."
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Riz, W Riz.
yes,
Let me make a song about you and then whistle it, or find a song about you and whistle it. But yeah, then we get like they're like dancing at the
yes.
thing. Nice little scene. Kind of, it's the same dance, pretty sure, as how Lincoln dances with when
Actually, Peter
during
Labuza says this. I'm glad you mentioned this because I forgot. Peter Labuza, because he apparently wrote an essay comparing young Mr. Lincoln to My Darling Clementine, or I forgot which Ford movies it was, but he mentions how it's the exact same dance
yeah,
that
no, really.
Fonda does in both movies, but in Young
Well, he
Mr.
doesn't.
Lincoln, no, it's the exact same. But in Young Mr. Lincoln, they compliment him. No, they make fun of him and say he's a bad dancer, and this one they call him a great dancer after,
Well,
even
they're
though it's
more
the
in
exact
sync.
same dance, which is
Well, they're more in sync. Like the thing
maybe
with
maybe a
that
little
movie,
better. Like they're going
he's
a
a
little
little just like
faster.
awkward. He doesn't know how to dance. This one, they're more in sync. They're like actually like
See, are
they
you
like
reading it
get it.
that way because he gets complimented after? Because Peter Labuza says he does
No,
the
no,
exact same
you
dance.
can tell
It's the
it's
exact
bad in
same.
him. You can tell it's
All
bad in
right,
him.
all right. He's
You,
more
you,
clanky. He's more lanky about it.
well, he just doesn't know how to fucking do it. Doesn't know the steps. Doesn't know what he's doing. This one, it seems like he kind of knows what he's doing. So
He's lifting his knees awfully high. It's pretty funny.
To me, my favorite shots of this scene though is them walking to the church. It's almost like they're getting married just
uh,
right then. Like the way he's
yeah,
filming them, like
honestly,
holding
yeah,
hands, and like it's like the camera actually pans a little bit too when they start walking. It's almost like it's like an Ozu pan because he barely pans his camera. So when he does pan it every once in a while, you're like, holy shit, like something insane is happening. But like in this one, it's like uh, right when they decide to go to the church together, they start walking like along the edge of the motel, but the camera pans all of a sudden while they walk instead of cutting. It's really great. And then we get these like wide shots of them actually walking to the. I guess you can call it church, but it's like out in the open, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
It's a church without a roof. The roof's coming
it's a
next
church
week.
without a
Yeah.
roof. And this is another thing with the church. It's because one of the characters even says like they're kind of surprised where they say, "Oh, church bells and tombstone." And someone else says something earlier where they say about the Shakespeare play. They say something like that, like, "Oh, Shakespeare and Tombstone." You know, where like they're basically talking about the modernizing of the world. You know, like from this kind of Western town that didn't have anything to like it's become like she's staying to build a school. You know, where it's like
Mhm.
Yeah,
the West is becoming more modern instead of just being this kind of outlaw place. You know, and the
yeah,
church is like another one of those examples.
damn. Um,
Also, the sermon is great too. I wish every sermon was like this.
For real though,
Uh,
dude. There ain't nothing in the Bible against dancing, so we're gonna dance.
I mean, imagine a church without a name where he's like, we ain't got no name. We ain't got no preacher either. Now, I don't pretend to be no preacher, but I've read the good book from cover to cover and back again, and I nary found one word against dancing. So we'll commence by having a dad blast a good dance. That's how they start their church.
Good.
yeah,
That's what I was saying. It feels like a perfect Ford church, you know? It's like he has fucking
yeah.
dancing in all of his movies. It's kind of insane. Like, once you start paying attention to it.
Honestly, yeah, like
Like almost all the ones
even
I've watched.
even
Like
like
Fort Apache
his
has
dark,
one. Like all the ones I watched
even his
this week
dark
basically had one.
have dancing. Like the Searchers has dancing, and you wouldn't think there's dancing in that movie. Does the Man Who Shot Liberty Valance have dancing?
Ooh, that's a good question. It must have
Because
one. It must have it.
I
It's been a
know
while since I've seen that one.
Wagon Master and the Quiet Man both have dancing.
I
That's
mean, the
next to
ones I've
me.
watched this week, the Long Voyage Home does. The Fugitive didn't. I don't think it might have actually, but I don't think it did. That one's actually a kind of depressing movie. But
The-
My Darling Clementine does. Fort Apache does. She Wore a Yellow Ribbon does. And They Were Expendable does.
okay.
Loves it. Guy loves the dance scene
I
or
mean,
dance
fair enough.
scenes.
What's his like? He has the quote where he's like, "The two most beautiful things is a horse running and a couple waltzing."
Yes, yes.
Is
I
waltzing
was
just
gonna
that?
read
Just
that during a because there's a great moment at the beginning of Fort Apache where basically that quote just comes true, where we see the great shot of her using the mirror to watch the
yeah,
guy riding the horse,
yeah,
and then it cuts immediately to a dance scene right after that, like literally back
yeah.
to back.
No, that's a great scene. So yeah, basically, because of Clementine's decision to stay, uh, Doc Holliday kind of has a little bit of a crash out because of it. He doesn't like that. He kind of like sees her and he's like, if I said if you stay, I'm leaving. And then because of that, Chihuahua gets mad at Clementine, and there's like it's just like a whole situation. Like, oh, you drove him away and stuff like that. Like, why'd you have to come here? But then White Earp's like trying to like uh track down Holiday. We're like leaving the town at this point. Um, it's
Are
like
we at the
Holiday.
part where Wyatt sees
Well, he's tracking
necklace?
down Holiday because of the necklace. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
skip over that
Oh, the
Yeah,
because
okay. Yeah,
necklace.
you
My
skipped.
bad.
That's the part I was talking about earlier, where Wyatt sees the necklace on Chihuahua, and he's
Yeah.
like, that's when he thinks Doc must have stolen the cattle and everything, because
Yeah.
he has the first inclination we all do is Doc gave her that necklace.
Damn.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's when Wyatt starts to look for Doc, but he's already gone, I think.
And then but then he like chases him down in
Yes.
the desert, and then he's like, "You're coming back to Tombstone, Doc."
and this is like one where we get like their duel skill or their duel basically testing each other's skills. But
And
Yeah.
yeah, if Wyatt Earp wins, he shoots Doc's gun out of his hand.
Damn, yeah.
And that's when they it's like that's I love how fast this happens. Like right after that duel scene happens, it cuts immediately to them asking Chihuahua like what's going on. There's like not even any kind of like
Yeah. Like
traveling shots of
where
them
should
going to the
I
place. It's like automatically cut right back to the next
investigate it?
scene. Yeah,
And then
and they're already asked.
Right as soon as she says Billy Clanton, she gets shot.
yeah,
Yes, damn that honestly, even the second time watching that surprised me. I forgot that happens right away.
Like
So
insane.
it's like literally right after boom gunshot because you think he just runs away. You're not expecting him to still be there. Uh,
Damn. Yeah, this is Chihuahua basically her death scene.
yeah.
Um,
Also, it's
with
a great kind of just editing wise. It's a great cut from immediately after she gets shot to the outside view of the guy running away in the silhouette in like the darkness, and as
yeah.
Wyatt starts to chase him, and then Wyatt also sends his brother to his death. Where he's like, "Hey brother, go, brother Birch, go chase him by yourself."
I mean he doesn't.
Yeah.
I want to say he sends him to his death. The brother should have known better than to go in the house.
Yeah, he was really dumb to go in that house.
He was
Like,
being
oh
very
my
dumb.
god.
That was not
Should have come
exactly.
back for
He's like,
reinforcements.
yeah,
Damn.
no, yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But then we get the
I mean, yeah,
surgery
we get
scene.
we get both of their. Well, I guess that's not really her death scene, but it technically is kind of. It's filmed like her
It is
death
kind of
scene.
it's kind of a false hope scene for Doc too, where you think
Yeah,
he kind of feels like maybe he has a future with her, especially him like coming back to be a doctor to save her. He thinks anyway. So it's almost like his fate is sealed after she realizes he died. She died, where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
do they
and
even
he's.
celebrate the
It's never
surgery and
said.
stuff?
It's never said, but he's also obviously close to dying anyway.
And yeah,
Probably.
he
Yes, that
learns
is true. That's what I was saying. The
she
caffeine, all the
yeah.
caffeine we get.
But yeah, he
That's
basically
probably another reason he doesn't go after Clementine harder. He already knows his fate. It's sealed.
That is true. Yeah.
yeah. But then like they like he like learns the news and basically like decides he wants to join Wyatt.
I mean, we skipped. Yeah, Brother Verge dies in between those
Yeah.
two. It's a great shot of the father, Walter Brennan, just sitting there, and he's like, "Yeah, come check. He's dead." And the guy, Verge comes, checks the room, and as he's walking out, he just shoots his shotgun or is it a rifle or something? While he's sitting
It's
down
a
still,
Shoots him in the
just
back.
like barely even moves as he shoots him.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. We get the famous showdown at the OK Corral scene. This is like a famous like shootout thing.
Isn't there a movie called Gunfight at the OK Corral or something like that?
Yes, I think
Yeah, I think there
so.
is.
This
I
is like
think it might be called Shootout though. Okay, Corral.
something like that. Something at the OK Corral. But yeah, they kind of like. I mean, this whole scene is just. I remember, dang, I remember when you watched this first time you watched it. You said you didn't really like this scene very much,
Of the
like the
last
shootout.
battle?
Yeah,
Did I say that?
I remember you saying like, oh, like I kind of liked it until the ending. It's like a basic Western type thing.
I don't
I
remember
remember
saying
you saying
that.
this to me.
I think I was
I
talking
remember you.
maybe about the any with Clementine, but
Uh,
because the
but
shooting actually doesn't take that long.
yeah, it's not.
It's
It
pretty
kind of fits the
quick.
movie in that it's not very. What's the word I'm trying
It's
to
not overly
find?
It's
dramatic.
not the
Yeah, it's not.
it's
Yeah,
not the
not
typical
overly
show
dramatic.
shootout.
Not super sensationalized.
Like
It's sort of.
like for a lot of westerns, like for example, we just said there was a movie called the OK at the
Gunfight though.
gun
Okay, Corral.
gunfight at the OK Corral. But like this movie is not about the gunfight. You know, it's not about the
Yeah,
vengeance necessarily. It's more about we all the stuff we've been talking
characters, their
about. Yeah,
relationships.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, it is quite
I
cool. A
mean,
lot
it's
of
not
deaths.
about the vengeance, but it's also kind of about the vengeance.
It does get it's what keeps them there.
Yeah, it's the
It definitely
motivation.
frames the movie as like that's what happens at the beginning. That's what's going to keep them here at the end. But like
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. A lot of Wyatt is about almost like him kind of enjoying this town outside of that stuff.
No, yeah.
Uh,
Well, one reason
like
I
he's not
said it
just
was
thinking
about
about that every
vengeance.
second.
One reason I said it was about vengeance though is because he does tell the Walter Brennan, he's like, I want you to live knowing that you basically killed both of your sons, just like I want you to experience the exact type of feeling my pa's going to experience whenever he figures out that his
That is
sons are
true.
dead.
That is true.
And then the only reason Walter Brennan ends up dying is because he pulls a gun on them again after
His
that.
secret gun he has hidden.
Yeah.
He thought, but yeah, that gunfight. Also, I will say during the gunfight, I mean, just throughout the whole movie, especially, but in this gunfight, the clouds in the sky really pop out. Like I know, Danny, you're a huge cloud guy.
Yes,
This
they
is this, this
100%
is a top
do.
tier cloud movie. Would you say that?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Clouds be clouding like a lot.
I mean, the clouds
Um,
always are hidden in Ford's movies.
Jeez,
Because I
it's the
watched
sky.
She Wore a Yellow Ribbon too, and that one has some great cloud.
Oh yeah,
Uh, in the Monument Valley, that's what it's called, where Ford always shot his westerns.
damn.
Also,
But
we do get this great moment of like Doc. I mean, not Doc. Fonda and Ward Bond standing over Doc's body, just like in silence after they realize he died.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's not like too much, like because it's kind of crazy. The immediate next scene is just them leaving. It's the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's like oh well,
Like how many westerns? Maybe not even westerns, just movies in general, where we see like the big fight, and there's still like 20 minutes left of just like conclusions and stuff like that. Like wrapping up stuff. Like it's like literally the next scene is the
oh
last scene of the movie
last scene.
of
Okay,
them
yeah,
leaving.
yeah, true. Damn. I thought you were about to say like there's 20 minutes left in this movie, and I was about to be like,
No,
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 damn.
no. It's literally just this last scene.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally, I totally agree. It's really cool because yeah, like Clementine is like I'm a school teacher now or whatever,
Well, she's saying she's
and
decided to stay and be a school teacher.
yeah, and
Yeah.
uh, Harry Fonda's like I might come back through, I might pull up again, I might have to come through
I
again.
mean, you don't believe him.
Can't I mean it's very up in the air. We don't know if he will come back.
Sure.
How can we know?
I believe him though. I believe him. I think he'll come back and see her.
I do believe that.
But is that because it's Henry Fonda?
Maybe.
A sequel could be maybe he comes back to see her, but she's already married to someone else.
This is we can get ChatGPT to do that. That was a joke. No one laughed. I'm just gonna.
It's because I can see you doing that.
No, I'm not gonna do that. No, definitely not. Definitely not. Don't paint me that way. Anyway, yeah. So that's My Darling Clementine. Incredible movie. What a picture. And yeah, after the break, we will get into Fort Apache. So stay tuned.
Would you agree that the point of Fort Apache was that the tradition of the Army was more important than one individual?
Cut.
And we're back to talk about John Ford's 1948 film Fort Apache. Definitely, as I kind of said at the beginning of the episode, this one, along with My Darling Clementine, has maybe one of the most complex of Ford's films, and just especially the ending, kind of how he uh, how certain things play out with Henry Fonda's character, who's a very kind of objectionable character in the way he comes in, like has his like own personal glories that conflict with you know, um, what everyone else kind of wants, or just like what he should do, um, and then kind of like how they choose to honor him. But anyway, we'll get to the ending when we get there. But it's a really fascinating movie. Um, I especially love like the 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 distancing techniques he does with it, kind of like with the ending, kind of like it kind of places the whole movie in a new light, in my opinion. When you just kind of see it's just like how they choose to remember it. Um, a lot of like the Ford community stuff and it's amazing. The cavalry scenes are just like astounding. Like how many like all the horses and stuff running. Um, yeah, and like just like the ideas of like also just like the about the military in general, because there's a conflict, like a conflict in Ford where he obviously feels kind of like he admires a lot of the military, but also kind of recognizes he like flips back and forth. It feels like between like um, these are great men, these military heroes, but at the same time like are they what they say they are? And he sort of like, and then the movie like he kind of like pretends that um he almost like it's almost like him saying like, oh, he's like pretending that we should, or just saying like we should just like admire these guys even between despite their flaws. But obviously not everyone reads it that way, and I'm not totally sure if Ford even reads it that way. It's just like kind of like what the surface level reading is. But yeah, it's a fascinating movie. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this? Oh wait, no. So it's Blake's first time watching,
Yes.
and then Danny's your second time.
Yeah, second time.
All right. What are y'all's thoughts?
I
Liked it.
I liked it for sure. No, I like Danny posed it earlier. Like Fonda's like supposed to be the villain, I guess. I mean, kind of. I think he
Yeah,
said
it's a
that
weird kind of anti-hero
because like I was asking myself in this movie, like he's definitely not the greatest guy, but I don't know if I would ever consider him a true villain. This is just like it feels exactly like just a classic myth of just like what Alexander the Great is for per se.
Yeah.
This is kind of just like maybe what he would be like in general. I don't know because like we have a lot of scenes
Yeah.
of them talking about West Point, or not like a lot of scenes of talking about West Point, but they're bringing up things like this is the classic maneuver that Genghis Khan made. So it's like they're obviously
Yeah.
thinking about these greater than life men, which those are myths in themselves, obviously. And so I wouldn't say that Fonda, and this is like a straight villain, obviously. Like if I showed my grandpa this, I think he would think Fonda is the hero, based on
I
how it's
think
like, or like how
100%.
it's
I
portrayed.
think so. That's why the movie is so complex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tag Gallagher like makes this point where this is basically the part of the career, Fonda's Ford's career where he starts to become more revolutionary in his words. Um, but a lot of his critics basically see his what he calls his that he says his they misconstrue his denunciations as celebrations. And so that would be a good
hmm
example of like someone like your grandpa watching Fonda's
yeah,
character and seeing him as the hero. But then also a lot of people who like are more liberal minded, they watch this movie and they don't like Ford now because they read Fonda as a hero, you know. But
yeah.
really, Fonda is actually the anti-hero at the very least. Um, this like I think the story is kind of based on General Custer, from what I remember.
That's what
Uh,
it feels like for sure.
it's that kind of
Like
story, you know. There's
Custer's
kind of
Last Stand.
hubris.
Custer's Last Stand. You know,
Yes,
like that's literally a
yes.
famous thing.
Yes. And like the way he became a hero right after. But really, he was an
Yeah.
idiot, you know, like that kind of like Fonda's the same thing. Like we're watching this whole movie, and he's basically wrong about the Indians. He's a racist, first of all, you know,
Oh
like
yeah,
the
oh
way
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
talking about the Indians
I
and
argue
stuff.
that.
Like he's talking about Alexander the Great. It's like, oh, the way you guys talk about it, you would say Conchis is like one of these great generals. And it's like, yeah, they know what they're doing, you know, like this.
Yeah.
But like he never sees them that way, and that he basically just leads them to their death right away because he just
He
doesn't.
fucked around and found out.
But that's why I think this movie's interesting too, because you see John Wayne's character. Normally, you think he would be playing that kind of role, but he's playing the more
Yeah.
like understanding role, you know, where
Yeah.
he actually like takes the Indians seriously.
Yeah, he understands like their culture.
Yeah, he's the one who's actually trying to take their perspective and stuff. Where like
Yeah.
Fonda never does, you know, which is
Yeah.
it's interesting. Like actually, you should show your grandpa this movie to see if he likes it. Honestly.
I wonder if he's seen it. He might have already seen it, honestly, because he has watched a lot of these old westerns. So
Or you should ask him about Henry Fonda too. What do you think about Henry Fonda?
I'm sure he loves Henry Fonda. I mean, who doesn't love Henry Fonda if you see him?
Because there are probably like Western heroes maybe he knows about that we don't because they weren't in like a Hawks movie or a Ford movie, you know, or a
Most definitely. Like, I
maybe
mean,
more, like
Gary
the more
Cooper.
TV
He knows who
westerns and
Gary
stuff.
Cooper is. So. Which Gary
Okay.
Cooper's famous, but
Oh yeah. Henry
I
Fonda,
don't
I
think
think,
he
is
was
pretty
ever.
famous too.
Oh, Henry Fonda. He was a yeah.
Sometimes I'm always confused. I'm like, are these actors that I know more of now because they're in Ford, like in you know
Yeah.
these movies, just directors I know, or were they actually were they just more like who's an actor now that aren't is like really famous, but they're not in any like big directors movies, so they won't be remembered down the line, kind of thing, like a Channing Tatum or something.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, Ryan Reynolds. Like people will be like, "Yeah, this was the biggest actor of our day," and I'm like, "Wait, who? Like, what movie's he in?" Like
Yeah,
15 years
yeah.
from now, it's like, "What movie's he?" It's like, "Oh yeah, he's in Free Guy." It's like, "Oh, that one's that
Oh
years from
yeah,
now."
the Sean Levy. You're saying Sean Levy's not a canonized director? Is that what you're saying?
I
That's
mean,
news to
maybe
me.
at the downhill slope we're on, like maybe he does become that. But
Okay. Damn. Um. But yeah. So wait. So you both really like this movie, right?
I
No,
still
yeah, I
like it.
definitely.
I don't know. Like the one thing I would say is like it doesn't have some of the funness that the other Ford movies do. That maybe I don't know how else to
Okay.
put that. I guess maybe there's just not as much comedy. That's why I say Fonda's more of like a villain too, because it's just like
Yeah.
there's a moment in this movie that's you like remember the scene where he's dancing, where he's kind of forced to dance with it's
Yeah.
the non-commissioner's ball, and so he's
Yeah,
forced to
Yeah.
dance with the wife, and like he's if you notice he basically doesn't smile the whole time. It's kind of insane, like the basically to be in this like happy setting the whole time, and he doesn't smile one time. And I
Yeah.
remember watching it and be like, damn, he's like it's like almost like on purpose he's not smiling. And then immediately
Yeah.
after, when John Wayne comes with the news that Cochise is like willing to meet but they have to enter with no guns and stuff. Fonda is like, oh, that's just like exactly what we wanted. We're gonna go with our like full army or whatever, and meet them. And he smiles right away when he's saying that because he's like, Wayne's like, but that would be tricking them. He's like, that's exactly the point. And that's like the first time he smiles, and it's like, damn, that just makes him like a pure villain to me, you know. Where like this whole time he's in this like happy celebration, total dead face, and then he's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna lie to these people and like kill them. He like smiles for like the first time. It's kind of amazing. Also, it's amazing because like this is the Fonda character who's like known as like for most of Ford's movies, he's like the exact opposite. He's like the guy you can trust. Yeah,
movies in general. He's like the good American, you know, actor. He represents like the good American,
exactly
like, values.
I mean, except for I haven't seen the. Is it Sergio Leone Western where he's a villain?
Well, that one's like later on. That one's like he's like older, a bit older. Yeah. But yeah, that one he's like even that one he's pure evil.
Oh yeah,
even more than this.
But see, that moment to me is just like pure evil too. Just like he's just so happy where he's like, oh, I can be like a hypocrite. I can also like make Wayne look like a hypocrite, and then also.
And Once Upon a Time in the West, you're introduced to Henry Fonda and him killing a child. Like that's the first thing you see of him, like cruelly killing a child, and you're like, oh, that's Henry Fonda. Jesus Christ!
Spoiler: I don't have to see it now.
Well, it's the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours. So
you should watch it though.
I almost did. I actually almost did because I was like, I need to watch. I want to watch some Fonda movies, but I was like, I'd rather just watch 4 Fonda movies. You know,
Danny, trust. Like it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. There's like 5 or 6 locations. It's like the smallest epic ever made. It's crazy.
It's like a King Hu movie in that way.
Yeah, I guess so. That's a good way to say it. Like it's insane.
Well, I guess Dan hasn't watched King Hu either. So.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've seen 2 King Hu movies.
Not his best one.
A Touch of Zen.
Touch of Zen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But anyway. All right. Yeah, we can go ahead and get into Fort Apache. So I guess the movie starts with kind of like this like stagecoach ride. And I think, and basically we see it's Henry Fonda and his daughter, right? And they're kind of riding in. I think it's the opening scene too, when we get the shot you were talking about, Danny, with like her like viewing the soldiers through
amazing.
her like, mirror too. That's like it's an amazing shot.
Yeah. That's after they stop at that like diner or whatever.
Oh yeah, they do stop there.
Because that's when she meets O'Rourke for the first time.
Yeah.
When he's like changing and everything.
Yeah. That's funny, yeah.
Because that's when she basically falls in love with him, and that's why this like mirror scene is kind of significant, you know.
Yeah. Because like the whole thing with them is that like they're in love, but like Henry Fonda doesn't want to allow it.
That's what kind of makes him like the more just like a unlikable guy at the beginning of the movie, you know, where he's like,
yeah,
he just doesn't seem to like this, you know, he's holding back their love in a way, you know.
Yeah.
But you can read it that he's just a good dad, trying to be protective.
Yeah. You're not sure. But yeah, we see like there's a lot of like also in this movie, a lot of it's about like a lot about like the military institution, like all the traditions they have and kind of like their hierarchies.
Definitely.
Yes. Yes.
There's a lot of like detailed stuff about that. You can like
and a lot about how the further out you get from where the military is actually stationed, the looser the regulations are, until at least Henry Fonda shows up.
He's like, because this place, the whole point with him is like he's like this like acclaimed general from like the Civil War, and basically like this is like a Fort Apache's like a kind of like a lesser kind of post, like backwater, like not as much action, and so he views it kind of as like he views himself above this, himself as above this.
I think he literally says in this openings sequence or whatever, like there's no place to win glory or something here.
Yeah, that's like his whole. Like it's almost like comical how much she's like obsessed with Glory and like
Yes,
actually
actually,
like
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's actually Tag Gallagher. One of his main points of in this chapter, he talks about he says, "quote Ford sees the immediate cause of army barbarity and disgruntled officers trying to make a name for themselves so they can return east, but glory is an acceptable goal in the system." So basically, and I feel like that's what it frames the ending of the movie too, where it's like this idea of trying to find glory, especially for a guy coming from the east that doesn't want to be there. Glory is his way out.
yeah
He's like, if I do something great, I can go back. I don't have to stay here anymore. That's like he's like that's why he's like using the Indians to find his own glory. And
yeah
I think I mentioned this before the podcast. I'm glad you guys brought this up because I kind of forgot about it while we started the movie. Have you guys seen The Thin Red Line?
Oh,
Both
yeah.
of you?
yeah
Because
love
there's
that
like
movie.
I don't know if you guys remember one of the officers in it. I think it's Nick Nolte's character, if I remember right.
Oh
He's
yeah
like
yeah
he's like an officer that hasn't seen much battles. He hasn't seen much war, so
yeah
it's like his first war. He's like really excited when it's supposed to be like everyone's
yeah
depressed that they
yeah
have to go die and stuff. He's like, and it's basically for this word, glory. And he's kind of like Fonda's
yeah
character, where he's like he doesn't care about getting his men killed as long as he can like basically have this. He has this ego or this pride thing, where he wants glory for himself
yeah
through some kind of great mission.
definitely
That's why I think Blake bringing up Alexander the Great and who does he else does he
Genghis
bring up?
Khan.
Yeah,
Genghis
Genghis
Khan.
Khan. Like two, yes, yes, yeah. He's like he kind of sees himself in that kind of. He wants to be in that kind of names, at least in his own mind.
yeah
And then that's also what keeps like the kind of. He says that glory is also what keeps the tradition going even after he dies. Which the whole complicated last scene with the painting, and they all like basically still see him as a
yeah
great hero, even though they know what happened, which is kind of
yeah
funny.
it's almost like it's like for I don't know that's it's we'll talk about the readings of that ending when we get to it I guess, but
Yeah,
there's a lot
yeah.
of readings you can have of it.
Yes, there is.
um but yeah, then we see kind of like Henry Fonda kind of like coming in when they're at this party and stuff. And this is where we meet John Wayne's character for the first time. I honestly forgot John Wayne was even in this movie when I rewatched it. I was like, yeah, oh shit, yeah,
Damn.
John Wayne's in this movie.
Well, that's why
Bro.
he's almost the anti John Wayne character. Like the more,
Yeah,
maybe not anti John Wayne. I shouldn't say that, but he's not playing
saying
a
he's not
typical John
racist.
Wayne role.
He's not racist.
Well, not only is he not racist, he's almost like he's like the good guy in terms of racism too. Like he's defending the Indians, which
Anti-racist.
yeah.
Yeah,
Bro, Henry Fonda's so funny in the scene, though. He like walks in and is like, "Oh, so this party wasn't for me."
I know he's like mad about
Yeah.
it. Like,
he's like, oh, I'm assuming this party wasn't because of my arrival.
there's a scene earlier
And,
where
like,
he's mad that no one came and picked him up at like that place where they stop at the first
Yeah.
that first
Yeah.
stop. He's like, oh, I was expecting someone to come pick me up or something. Like, oh, sorry, our fax.
Like
They
John-
say like their lines have been
Yeah.
down for 2 days, and he like doesn't
Yeah,
care.
Why don't you fix it? Yeah,
Because he was like, he thought it was for him, but then they're like, "Oh no, this is actually for O'Rourke." He's
Yeah,
like, "What?"
yeah. He's like is the O'Rourke a lieutenant? I forget the titles too. I'm not good with the military titles.
Yeah,
So he's like, oh,
'Cause I
lieutenant
know
gets one
he's-
and not a. What's his rank?
he's corporal
well, it's
because he's corporal
Corporal?
It's
Thursday
like
or
a-
something.
Okay,
That's the
It's
only
like-
reason I
like-
remember is because his last name is Thursday.
paid as a corporal.
because he gets
he's
mad.
like
He's like,
paid-
oh, lieutenant gets one and not a corporal or something like that. And he's like,
Yeah. Well, he was bestowed general rank during the war, I think, but he's like actually a corporal type deal.
this is another one of those things I do not get. I'm
So
so
I
bad
don't
with
get
military
this shit.
titles. Like
I
this
don't
is,
know
but
this
this is
shit.
another one you said. Like people inside the military, they take these very seriously. All these different distinctions,
Yeah. No,
like
yeah, definitely.
Tag Gallagher calls it a caste system. This movie is basically based on a
Yeah.
caste
Yeah, it
system where
is.
like authority has to come from above, and everyone
Yeah.
knows their roles. And
Definitely.
like that's one way that explains this ending, where like even if Colonel Thursday gets everyone killed, you keep the system going by basically you basically glorify him no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Like something like General
yeah,
Custer or
definitely.
something.
Definitely.
I'll just point out for everyone that can't see our video, obviously, but Luke is showing off his Criterion collection right now. I don't know if that's on
That was
purpose.
not my intention. That was not my intention. They're just behind me, but yeah. Yeah, we see the lieutenant guy goes home to
He sees his dad for the first time in a
yeah,
while. Ward Bond.
yeah, more Bond. Um, playing a nice father figure in this movie, but and then yeah, it's great like how like they're like all like lovey dovey and stuff, and then like as soon as because like his dad has to go and leave because his dad's like in the military too.
Hmm.
He like puts all his military stuff on, and then he immediately turns into military mode. It's like really funny,
Yeah,
like a
he's
great
like, but
showcase.
then he hits him. He punches his son at the end of it too. Just like
Yeah.
so he like because I think his son is he just technically graduated from West Point or something, or
Yeah,
Rourke did.
Yeah, something like that.
yeah,
And so now he's a higher rank than his dad is, and so that's why his dad like
Yeah.
salutes him. But after saluting him, he
Yeah,
punches him.
yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Um, but yeah, we see like some scenes between uh
like
the lieutenant
the
and the
kind of how
girl.
active the base is too, from the
Yeah,
perspective of
yeah.
the girl watching the daughter.
A lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah, there is.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of extras in this movie.
Yes.
Um, and like
bro. That was one of the first things I thought of during a lot of the horse, especially the horse scenes, the cavalry scenes. I'm just like, we are never ever getting this shit again. Like, damn.
Dude, that's yes. A lot of Ford movies. That's why that's another great part of watching Ford movies. Like in honestly, dude, I think I found a movie that has even though they were Expendables about the Navy, it might have some better plane scenes than Only Angels Have Wings. Like it's that level, dude.
are you
It's
just trying to
it's
rage
it's
bait me?
insane. It's insane because you're also getting to watch explosions too because it's the Navy, so you're watching the planes attack the ships. And I'm just like, holy
Okay.
shit! Like we're not like I cannot like how do people not talk about this Ford movie? Like I don't see a lot of
Only
people talk about this one.
only angels have wings
It's
though. They're not the
insane.
military.
That's true, but it's a lot of the plane stunts and
They're
stuff
not
are also
fighting. Yeah, they're not like
also I
they're not
think
like fighting.
I think in that one a lot of the planes are miniatures if I remember correctly, or they do some tricks with
It's like a
the
mixture. It's a mixture.
okay. But they were expendable. It's crazy. Just like they obviously got the actual military to help them film a lot of these scenes, but it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
insane. It's like now all this would just be CG on some like fucking uh Unreal Engine animation or something.
yeah.
Just,
Um,
we're never going back.
yeah.
Sadly,
So
Even though I do want to watch Magellan because apparently that's a good sea movie that's actually shot
Magellan. Oh
the
yeah.
Live Diaz one.
Um,
oh okay. Well, Love Diaz, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think we see like some scenes of like Henry Fonda like imposing uh his like strict kind of like rule over the camp, like creating all these rules, whipping everyone into shape. Um, and he's like, I think he's, I think. Let me think. Where? Because I think he also,
Which scene are we
what
in?
happens here? There's like a lot of like random scenes here. I don't know, um, like he's like talking to people in his office, and then
Yeah, he talks to a lot of different people.
It's
yeah,
just
there's just a
establishing
lot
the
of
I
stuff.
mean, you could
hierarchy.
say
It's
the one thing I have major from this because he's meeting different people in his office, where he meets this guy named Collingwood who apparently knows the old Fonda from East.
well,
And Collingwood's
Collingwood
the
was
guy
the
that's
old. He was the old commander of this of Fort Apache. Like he's the one
oh
that
okay,
Fonda replaced.
oh okay.
Okay,
But apparently they know each other from before. I think the way they're
Yeah, yeah, they
talking.
do too.
Because they call each other by their first names, which is a giveaway of like they know each other before they were higher
yeah,
rankings. Because
Yeah,
he says we talked about glory, and the reason I wrote this down because Collingwood tells him this isn't a country for glory, Owen. Calling Thursday by his first name, and that's basically, you could say, a foreshadow for the whole movie, where he basically ignores that advice, like, and immediately chases glory.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he also, there's another quick judgment scene, because Thursday like gets a drink. He's like, "You want a drink?" And he's like, "I'm good. It's a little early even for me, Owen." It's like, does this guy have a drinking problem or something we don't know about? Or...
That was such a diss, dude. I was like, dude.
Yeah, exactly. The way he says it is like, does Thursday have a drinking problem we don't know about as well? Like, he's just, or he maybe used to or something. Like,
yeah. We see some like great scenes of like them like training new recruits too.
The training new recruits is actually a really interesting scene, because like this entire fort is not really that big on regulation outside of Fonda, you would say, because these guys are making.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to fix.
Oh, definitely, because they're making fun of basically the hierarchy by just giving out sergeant positions or whatever to these random guys if they answer their questions correctly.
Like they don't even have like, they just like have like regular clothes on, like street clothes on.
Like the one I remember the most is that guy on the end that keeps on coming out, like the really lanky guy.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The old Confederate soldier.
Yeah.
it's the scene where the dad takes over, or the other guys take over for the young O'Rourke, because he's like not being, bully enough when he's like training them. Or is that later?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because he's like,
yeah.
He's like, he's an officer and a gentleman, but this job doesn't need a gentleman. Talking about how he's like being too nice. He gets mad at a guy and then immediately apologizes like right after.
Yeah. Damn. And we see like a scene with like
Fonda breaking the chair.
Fonda.
Damn, both of these movies have Fonda breaking a chair.
Bro, the chair's
shit,
this one's
he
funny.
He breaks a chair in My Darling Clementine too.
Honestly, yeah, like this chair seems like hard to break too. Like I'm surprised he broke.
Well, this is like a really sweet scene turned into a really funny scene, because it's like all the town, all the people in the fort provided everything, like all these furnishings, and then the chair breaks.
See, that's another villainous part about him. He seems he doesn't care about that at all. Like, she does. He seems he doesn't even care.
Well, it's his right. He's the commander, or he's the corporal.
Damn, this is like, I kind of like this guy.
Yeah. But
then she goes to eat with the Collingwoods after he leaves for work for some reason.
Damn, yeah.
And that's kind of what we learn more about Collingwood and stuff.
And like the great like cigar smoke that looks really good in the scene.
Just some classic Ford like kind of little moments. I
I
guess you could say these are the more family moments of like why people want to stay at Fort Apache.
Like just like the community,
that people actually enjoy about it. Because like Fonda's here and he immediately wants to get out the whole time. Yeah. But a lot of
then like they like walk outside and there's like the musician.
Well, his daughter definitely doesn't feel the same way.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great scene.
We get the classic scene of a couple outside of a house talking to each other, where they, the O'Rourke and the daughter talk to each other outside. That's how the scene ends, I think.
Yeah. And then the next scene is one of maybe the funniest scene in the movie, with like the horses going wild
when they're all trying to mount them when they're training.
Yeah.
Bro, this is a wild scene.
Yeah, one guy just like completely falls. They push him off as he's getting on. They push him off the other side.
Yeah.
It's like
the one where like the one where the horse like runs off is so funny, and the guy chasing after it. Yeah.
I will say I do like the Mexican guy, because he's really funny, dude. Like he's
actually, dude, if you like that guy, I'm glad you pointed him out, because he's in The Fugitive, the other Ford movie that they filmed in. That movie was filmed actually in Mexico, and apparently lost a lot of money for Ford, because it's like the movie I'll compare it to is kind of like, it's almost like Ford's Nazarene, the Buñuel movie.
Okay.
Or like his Diary of the Country Priest. His like it's about it's like a walking saint. And actually, I'm almost positive that Scorsese saw this for Silence, too.
Okay.
Because it's about this government that's trying to kill all the Christian saints, and he's like the last one in the country, and he's having to hide from all
Yeah,
these
this is
locals that still want. Yeah, it's about all these locals are hiding this the priest because they still want to have baptisms and stuff. But I'm almost
a
100
really
percent sure
lesser
Scorsese
scene
saw it.
forward. It's a
Scorsese
really
loves
lesser scene
Ford.
forward.
It's a
I'm
what?
sure if you look up,
It's a very lesser scene forward. It's only like 3.5K on
Scorsese's probably seen
Letterboxd.
most
Oh,
of them.
really?
Though.
Damn, that low. I enjoyed it. I mean, I love all the Ford movies, so like,
It's
there's
called
no.
Fugitive, right?
Yeah, The Fugitive.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I'm pretty sure the reason he started My Darling Clementine was because The Fugitive lost so much money. He's like, I have to make a western. Like,
And then
uh,
just casually makes My Darling Clementine
yeah,
because of
I
that.
forget which western it was. It might have been Fort Apache. I forget the timeline, but I know he made a western like right
My
after.
Darling Clementine was. Oh yeah, I don't know. No, The Fugitive was 1947, so
So it might have been Fort
Yeah,
Apache actually right
it
after.
would be Ford
yeah,
Apache.
it would have to be. They're the same year.
It's crazy. Like this movie is like the like a sellout movie for him. Like, oh, I got to make some money back. Let me just make Fort Apache.
I mean,
It's
if
about
you
like the
watch The
military.
Fugitive, you'll see why. You'll see why. Like,
Like,
I'm not kidding when I'm saying it has that kind of vibe of the Nazarene movie of like just a depressing priest, like uh,
No, the synopsis
not knowing
definitely
his
seems
call.
very depressing.
But it's definitely it's a good movie too. I think I like them about the same, honestly. So just different Ford
yeah.
themes.
Oh, it's Fonda too. Oh yeah, you said that
Yeah,
earlier. I forget.
that's why I watched it. Yeah.
Um. Yeah, we see
The
the
couple ride
general
off.
shot.
They go on
Yeah,
a
the couple
date.
ride off, and then like Henry Fonda being concerned about it
Well,
because
he
his
finds
daughter is
out through
riding.
the other men.
Yeah,
Well, because I can see why the way he finds out too is bad because they hear word that there are Indians close by or something that just attacked somewhere,
yeah,
and then they're like, "Oh
yeah.
yeah, and your daughter's out riding with your um,
Yeah,
O'Rourke."
hopefully nothing bad
Yeah,
happens.
exactly. But then that's when he comes and
And
tells them like all the stuff they saw.
yeah, like a wagon, like they like is this where they killed two people or
Yeah.
whatever, and
Hmm.
like they found like the wagon burned and everything,
Yeah, it's also a
and then they
very
like
good like a good moment of like Ford's contrast within the scene where like it's honestly some of the best wide shots of like in Ford's movies of him like showing two people riding through Monument
yeah,
Valley. This one's like kind of romantic, right? Because it's like a girl and a guy,
yeah,
and like they think it's just a calm day. Then all of a sudden it just shifts when they see. She's
yeah,
the one that sees the smoke first, and then he's like, she's like, is that a? She doesn't think any of it, and he's like, oh wait, that's when he knows there's something
Well,
wrong.
she says that is that Indian smoke signals, and he was like, no, that's different.
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes. And then that's when
and
they
yeah, like
realize.
the
That's when they see all this stuff. Also, there's a great
and
little
then the
moment
scene,
too that I'm almost positive they might have cut it out of the movie or something. Um, but when they're riding off in wide shots to go back to the fort, her hat falls off. It all stays in wide shot. Her hat falls off, and then you
Yeah.
see him come back and pick up the hat and keep riding off. And then
the,
it just like it all stays in wide shot too. It's just like a great little moment. I don't even think he shows a like later scene of him like giving her the hat specifically, if I remember right. But I think she does have the hat later
yeah,
on.
the, but yeah, also this is like the first like battle kind of scenes I feel like you see in the movie with like the Indians and then the soldiers like skirmishing. Like when he like first cuts to like the Indians and kind of like pans his camera, it's like a
Oh
crazy moment.
yes, I love those
It's
shots of them riding on the
like a wide
horses.
lens. Yeah,
Yes, just honestly, even the way they're shot too. Like I think it's like mostly a bright screen too, so it's almost like they're just white. You know, like they're not filmed as necessarily evil.
damn, yeah,
Well, it's
Ty
because
Gallagher
this
actually
is
makes this
also.
point.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, I was gonna
No,
say,
continue.
Ty Gallagher makes the point that the Indians in this movie, they're not, they're not evil by cause; they're evil by definition, which I think is a great way to just explain racism in general. Which is like they haven't done anything to cause them being evil, right? They're just evil by definition of Thursday and by just Americas in general, the way we define Indians, as
yeah,
other or etc. So like,
definitely.
and like Ford's like he doesn't treat them as like evil in that way, like to where they're like causing the evil. They're just like more like if anything, especially in this movie, he respects them way more than the American military because they just fucking get wiped out, you know. And obviously they know the land way better too.
Well, and if you're talking about evil, this is actually one of the points where I would definitely agree with you that Henry Fonda's being evil. Because he sends, obviously, O'Rourke out on the suicide mission, basically, for the express purpose to trap the Indians and draw them in closer while his cavalry ride out 30 minutes after, you know. Like, he literally says something to, I think, John Wayne afterwards. He's like, this is something Genghis Khan taught us or whatever. You have to sacrifice a few people to actually, I don't know. He said something like that. Because he was basically like, this is going to be a trap for the Indians. So,
yeah.
Yeah. It's got the, what? Okay, do you remember the David story where he wants to sleep with Bathsheba, so he sends off her husband into war to die?
Oh, that's
yes,
a crazy story.
No, that's a great comparison, though.
Like, where you're just sending off a guy to the front lines knowing they're going to die because you have the power to do it, basically.
This is where Fonda at least somewhat redeems himself later, though. Because he does know that John Wayne's probably right. In terms of, like, he knows that he's going to, like, this, basically, like, suicide mission because he sends O'Rourke and John Wayne out.
Yeah.
And at least I read that as he was trying to save O'Rourke's life. So,
okay, so it's not as bad.
Because he calls them cowards and stuff, but he knows they're not. But I don't know. Maybe
that's why they're not like he's not like at the end of the day he does also sacrifice himself with his men too. You know, so not making him like a pure villain where he's just trying to run away or something. Like that's why the glory thing makes more sense. Where it's like he's trying to make himself a myth almost, you know, just using the Indians, definitely. Even if it's not like a military cause or something for it. Like,
yeah. But then, we see Fonda and Wayne interrogating the bartender that like serves the Indians.
Well, he runs the kind of reservation, basically. That's what it's implied. He runs the Indian reservation, and he's basically kind of been poisoning them with alcohol.
Yeah, he interacts with them a lot, and
yes, as we're gonna learn, the Indians hate him. Like we don't see it right. Like we kind of see he's a kind of schemy, sketchy guy.
Well, yeah. To be fair, this is the scene where he's like telling them, like, I'm pretty sure like he reveals like he doesn't see them as like human and shit. Like he's like they're like savages. It's like the first like we hear of like,
and he sees himself as a savior too. He's like, I'm the one who basically helps them. I feed them. I clothe them. Like he's talking like that. Yeah. It's funny because that's how he sees himself, and then when we see the Indians, how they talk about him later on, they like fucking hate this guy. They're like, we're not coming back if he's still there. Like, you have to get rid of him.
I hate that motherfucker, bro.
Isn't this also where one of the like funniest scenes happens though? Whenever they find alcohol.
Yes, it's right. It's right before this. I wanted to point out this is where Wayne actually defends the Indians the most too, where he's actually defending them running away from this reservation because of this guy. So it's like this is how the fucking this is how this is where you could say this is a great criticism of like just system in general, but also a military system. Where Wayne at the end of this movie, he's gonna basically take Thursday's spot, praise Thursday as a hero, but at the same time he sees all this corruption that's going on inside. Where it's like the military has to support this guy Meacham because he's part of the American military, but Wayne is literally saying like, no, he should. The Indians should have run away from this guy. You know, they should break their treaty to be away from this guy, even though he's part of our system technically, you know. So it's like all the contradiction of this movie itself. It's crazy, and like that's one right after where the guy's like, you can go search my place. They search this box of Bibles, or at least it says Bibles, and then they find all this alcohol.
So potent, it gets set on fire. It's fucking insane. The scene of
they ask
guys is hilarious though.
Yes. Honestly, the other guy that it's not the Mexican guy, but it's the other guy that looks kind of old. He's like the kind of goofball of the group. It's the guy that they Wayne asks. Actually, Fonda asks him, "Do you know about whiskey, sir?" And he's like, "A little bit." And so he has him drink it, and he's like, "What do you think?" And he's like, "Well, it's better than no whiskey at all, sir."
Such a good line.
But just like the borderline you need for that's like me drinking the cheapest wine possible, you know, where it's like it's better than no wine at all. Like,
see, you have options. So.
Yeah, you have no excuse.
I wonder how bad that whiskey tasted though. Like they were like
Oh, it's probably horrible. It probably tastes like battery acid.
I mean, it's literal gasoline, so
Ugh, ugh.
because it was
Just
flammable.
like thinking about it
that's
makes my
true.
insides hurt.
See, this is another criticism of the Meacham guy. Like this is the alcohol he's serving them.
Yeah,
You know.
well, that's what John Wayne says. He's like he serves them rock gut whiskey or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. He does. Yeah, he says that earlier.
Yeah. And then we see
We see a
Lord
quick
John-
scene of the four guys getting in trouble in the next scene for drinking
Yes.
because
Okay,
they all like we got because he's like get rid of it, guys, and they're like, all right, we got a long day ahead of us, and they like it's just implied they drink all of it, like because it cuts to them like drunk, like getting yelled at.
Over, yeah.
Yeah. And then Henry Fonda sends John Wayne and the Mexican guy on a scouting mission.
Well,
Yes.
on a peace talk mission, basically.
Or yeah,
That we think,
also
like
a
we know,
scam,
we're
yeah.
gonna learn later his real goals for doing it, but
Yeah, because John Wayne goes in good faith, but
yes,
I love the scene where the when John Wayne gives him the like whiskey.
yes,
He's like,
that's a
"How's your
great scene.
hangover?" And then he's like, hands him the bottle, and he's like, "Sir, you're the nicest Yankee I've ever known."
I love this. I love it that they throw the bottle off, and then you hear it you hear it break in the distance. I mean,
Yeah. By the way, this is the also in this kind of like in this part of the movie. One of the things that always like amazed me about westerns is like the shots of horses like going through the rivers. That always was like, damn, I can't believe horses can do that. Like
it
the
is
way
insane.
they like like most of the way submerged through the fucking river, and they just can like casually just walk through it. Insane. We also, I think this is also like intercut with um, Henry Fonda catching his daughter having dinner with the lieutenant and his family,
Hmm.
and like yeah, he's not very happy about that.
No, that's a whole other
Yeah,
big time.
he's like doesn't think
Well,
lieutenant's
it's
like suitable for his daughter.
they're still also standing on tradition though, because O'Rourke's like the dad is just like he's just like, sir, you are in my house, and this is against against company regulations, basically.
Yeah, he just kind of busts down the door. It's kind of crazy. Just like yeah, but
Also, did we talk about the
It's
scene?
also no, yeah.
ahead.
So it's just in the scene in general. It's also where fucking O'Rourke goes like, "I want to marry your daughter, sir."
oh yeah,
Like
She's
right
like,
after
"Yeah,
the guy's like, I don't want you talking to him anymore. Like,
you're shot. Buddy.
so funny.
Oh my goodness, Valentine. No one got that reference.
Valentine.
No,
Oh my goodness, Valentine. Never mind. Have you not seen where like the one Bulls game where Valentine like hit that like
oh my
crazy,
god.
like took that crazy heat check 3 and like
Oh yes,
horribly
I know
missed
exactly
it?
what you're talking about.
Whenever someone shoots their shot and like it wildly like goes wrong, I like to say, "Oh
You
my
have to do it in the
goodness,
guy's
Valentine.
voice too, or like where he's like no, or something like that. Where he says no after. I forget what he says after.
Oh my goodness, Valentine, no."
It's because I was watching that game live because that was against the Heat.
I was too, yeah.
Damn, when you were actually a sports fan.
Yeah. No, yeah, I remember that.
But actually, I wanted to. I was trying to find this quote. I think it was the scene right before. It's actually kind of. This is another great Ford moment where you're even as much as we're spending time talking about these movies, like some of the best Ford moments are like just visual moments that you could skip while you're talking about just even talking about plot.
Yeah.
Because like there's that quick moment where we see Wayne with the kind of Mexican translator, and they're both just riding, and there's that shot with them like above this kind of like ravine that has this like kind of it looks like a dry riverbed, like a looping river that like there's no water in it though. It's a great shot. And they're just talking, and then like this is another kind of moment where we see Wayne is just like a good guy, because like even without the other guy asking, he gives him some of his alcohol, and the guy's like,
I mentioned that.
and he's, oh, you did, okay. Where you're like,
Yeah.
nice. I was trying to find this quote when you said this.
Just like yeah. Where he's like, "How's your hangover?" and then just hands him the.
Well, did you mention the bottle falling too?
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, the bottle.
Yeah, I
because
mentioned that.
oh, you did.
I
Damn.
did.
Okay, I'm sorry, but anyway, because I wanted to find a. So Agent Ray, he wrote like he wrote this essay after Ford died, and this he actually brought up the scene for why Ford was so great. Um, where he says, quote, "Much of the best things in a Ford film has mysterious, indefinable quality of poetry. Because some of them appear casual, even accidental, it is difficult to realize how much experience and mastery lie behind them. Uh, Two men stand talking on the edge of a deep ravine. There's a broken bottle lying alongside. One man gives it a casual kick and sends it flying over the edge. A few seconds later, in a gap in the conversation, the soundtrack registers the faintest clicks. That's all. This is the sort of thing that belongs uniquely to the cinema." And he says basically that's just like it's like a moment that doesn't have meaning outside of just the moment happening, you know. Uh, and he says that's like basically the poetry of cinema, where you can have these kind of little moments, and that's what makes Ford like kind of like a great director to him. And because even as I watched it the second time, I didn't, it was like they're little moments, they don't stand out narratively, but they kind of build the characters in a way. And
Yeah,
honestly, just
definitely.
hearing a bottle kind of crack in this huge ravine is kind of satisfying just to hear in itself too.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I guess the end of that kind of sequence is them meeting the Indians. There's like a lot of them too, but um, and then it cuts from that to the party, right?
Yeah.
Where
The
like
non-commissioner offices.
yeah,
This is also, you could say, another kind of like a twist to Fonda, because it's like another celebration that's not for him. It's for the
yeah,
non-commissioned officer, so it's like,
yeah. He's stone faced the entire time.
yeah, I brought that up earlier. He doesn't smile until like after.
Once again, we get the
This is a
same
very
dance.
impressive dance, though. This is a very impressive one.
This is the third time we've seen Henry Fonda do this exact dance.
Is it?
The little.
This one's different.
Yeah.
I think what's more impressive
No.
is the beginning part where they're all in the formation and they're like walking in a line one by one.
There's one part where he does the spinny thing where like he like raises his hand.
Oh no,
That's
that's why I was talking about the procession. Like all of them dancing
Yeah,
together
all
was
of
really
them before.
impressive.
But yeah, but there still is that one like
There is,
the,
yeah.
Mr. Lincoln, My Darling Clementine thing. So, Ford had to get that back in there.
Because it also stands out because Ward Bond is also smart. Like he's actually having a good time, even though he's having to dance with Thursday's daughter. He's still smiling. He's not fucking like Grudge Master over here. And then like Fonda's like dancing with the wife, and he doesn't smile even once.
Yeah.
He's just like pissed off about it.
Yeah. But then this time.
Oh,
John
I will
Wayne
say
crashes the party.
before we get to there, I think maybe the funniest scene in this movie is at the beginning of this party, whenever everyone is bringing in something, and then they're like, "Oh, I also brought whiskey for the punch," and he just keeps on like putting them over the table.
Yeah.
That shit got me, man. I'm sorry, I was dying because it happened like 3 or 4 times. So
Yeah.
Also,
That's a
the
great
scene also, now that you've said that, it reminded me of another little moment in the scene where like I think it's Ward Bond's like I forget who says it. It's like, now you take your partners for the Grand March, and they all get excited. But there's like this group of guys standing in a line, and one of the like younger guys, he starts to run, and one of the other guys just trips him. He like sticks his foot out and trips him, and it shows a close up of him just falling on the ground, just like randomly. It's like a quick shot. It's like Ford just like love having these guys fall off stuff. Like he must have had these stunt actors. Like, we only have them for a few days. We got to use them.
Yeah. But then John Wayne crashes the party this time,
and that's when
And, like,
basically Wayne
basically-
arrives right after. Like we see the dance.
he crashes it and basically
Yeah.
like tells Fonda about like how they're gonna have to they're like gonna meet with the Indians or to like try and make peace, but Henry Fonda has other intentions.
I will say
And
it's
so-
like kind of crazy because John Wayne, like even just the contrast between them two, as John Wayne comes like in all dusty and shit, he gives his report and says, "Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go get a shower and then get into proper attire," because he was gonna come back to the party because he was ready to party.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then Fonda was like, "No, you're gonna get your regiment together."
No, oh yeah,
Yeah,
it says
they, like,
regiment
move
moves
back.
out of dawn, and this like
Yep.
that alone, everyone knows what that means. It's like
Yeah.
party's over. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. This was the first time Fonda smiles. He's like having almost like he's having fun, just like destroying the party too at the same time. It's like he's like it's like an added bonus for him.
Yeah.
And this is where he calls Kochi's breech-clad savage. So there's no question of honor here between an American.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then they do the little like standoff. They all meet in the middle, and Henry Fonda just decides to like, I'm just gonna go talk shit instead of make peace. He was talking crazy. It's like John Wayne's like he could have definitely like hashed things out, but he just had no. He just wanted to. He's just too stuck in his ways.
Well,
to kind of,
it's all for the glory. It's like this is his one chance at glory, so he's not gonna fuck it up. But he's like, it's all for glory, but he's hiding behind. Oh my god, no. But he's hiding behind like procedure, basically, or protocol, like the government protocol, because he's like, you're talking to a member of the United States government whenever you're talking to Meacham, so you, sir, are in the wrong. But it's really all for him to just like further his own personal gains. Or try to, at the very least.
No. Damn. And then they the battle kind of like they march forward. They go back and then they he's like he wants to do basically Henry Fonda wants to do this one thing. John Wayne's like, no, that's like suicidal. And then when John Wayne keeps disagreeing with him, he's like, "Nah, you're a coward. You're not following orders. This is like illegal." But as you guys kind of said earlier, like he could be like sending him away in a like way to save him.
That's kind of how I read it, even still. Like, because I do think like Fonda's not an idiot. Like, he's on a suicide quest, but he doesn't want everyone to die, especially the young one. Which would obviously be like O'Rourke's always, even though he's lieutenant, he's always been treated as like I don't want to say the baby brother of this outpost or of this fort, but he kind of is, and so he doesn't like. I think even in this moment, he's like, I don't want my daughter to have to like also lose the person that she loves. So
interesting.
Yeah. Like, I think that's a slight redeeming quality in Fonda, at the very least, in this movie, is that he sends them away under the guise of them being cowards. Whenever he knows that he's just going to die, so.
But at the same time,
I think he sends Wayne. I think he actually sends Wayne away because he's a coward. He thinks Wayne is a coward.
Because he still rides in with all those men at the end of the day, and they're all gonna fucking die.
No, exactly. Yeah. But that's also like that's why I said like it like O'Rourke's like always been treated like the baby brother of this like outpost. Like he's the really young one here. Like everyone else is kind of just as a veteran of the sport.
Okay.
So this is what's interesting, like the kind of tonal shift from it's almost clearly bad the way it's shot. Fonda as this kind of guy who's like, yeah, we're gonna basically betray the Indians and go capture them. And then the next scene is almost like patriotic, upbeat music, almost like we're supposed to be on their side as we watch the army go to go fight them. So that's why I would love to.
It's like patriotic, but it's also just like really ironic because this
that's why I would. That's my reading of it. That's where Tag Gallagher says a lot of people would read a Ford movie the opposite way. They're like, "Oh, Ford is actually endorsing it."
My grandpa too. Like I think I said that.
See, that's why that's what I was about to ask too. Like, I wonder what your grandpa would think. It's like, oh, he's actually Fonda's doing the heroic thing now, almost like. It does require you to be a little racist, honestly, like because you're like, well, I can't do this thing. We're doing the right thing for the Indians. We're bringing them back to this shitty reservation.
I think it's just buying into the myth itself, though, is where I think people will fall into that category because, like, that's where I would see my grandpa falling for is like he's falling for like because even though like Fonda is a not great character in this, obviously, he is still shown a heroic light in this scene. So
I think so, yeah. Especially
he's shot and
he's
shown
not
a
pure
very heroic light.
And like I think that myth part is really important too, because we also this time I'm almost positive we actually skipped over the scene of when they're actually walking away. We see Collingwood's wife, because like one of the kind of minor
Yeah.
stories of the movie is Collingwood has been wanting to go back to West Point to teach. He's trying to get out of Fort Apache. And
Yeah.
so, right when they're off to battle, Collingwood's wife gets this letter that says Collingwood has been transferred over to West Point, and they're all telling her, "Go send go get this letter to your husband and tell him to come back so he doesn't have to go die." And then she says, "No, no, my husband's no coward," and she basically
Yeah.
sends off her husband to go die because of this kind of basically this belief in the country, you know. And then
Yeah.
she basically caps it off with maybe the kind of line of the movie where they're all walking and in the distance she says talking about her husband, she says, "I can't see him, all I can see is the flags." And you
Yeah.
could say like basically
Yeah.
that's why all of these characters, you know, like when you're asking why do they do this, like why are they contradictory in their ways, it's like that's why, you know, it's like they do it for the flag, you know. And
Yeah. It's like almost. It's basically like it's almost like a religious thing.
yeah, 100%, you know, that's kind of like
This
like
the this thing that drives people to do these irrational kind of things.
and
Like it's an irrational belief in something.
yes, and we talked about it similarly with How Green Was My Valley too, right? Like, why do they keep doing trusting this family in this place even though it's destroying them? You know, uh,
Yeah.
and I think that's why the family scenes are so important in Fort Apache too, because the same like this is why, you know, we're seeing the inside, like Tag Allen calls it, we're seeing an inside perspective of how these kind of almost like racist institutions still exist, you know, because like they still
Yeah.
have these family orientations and this like these reasons that keep them uh that can move past logic in a way, you know, for good and bad, depending
Yeah.
on the movie, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then they meet Cochise.
Yeah. As I can see, yeah. Um. But yeah, but the suicide mission definitely was a. It's crazy just like how bad it was. Like he said it was gonna be a suicide, and then you see it happen. You're like, damn,
Yeah.
this is even worse than I expected. They were just so ready for him. Just the way they were all like lined up on the mountain was crazy. Um, and I think Henry Font even had a chance during the battle to like run away too, but he's like, no, I must rejoin my command.
Yeah.
And then yeah, that's when he like basically dies and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of accepts his fate at this point.
I
And then
mean, you could say he's doing it, maybe even becoming a hero because he does.
Yeah.
that's what's so complicated about it. Um, and partly because like in a way America kind of needs these heroes to kind of uphold this like religious almost like view uh of like the flag, as you were kind of were saying. Like you need these almost like martyrs,
Yeah.
just like
Um,
like heroes.
like, I mean, you could say that's what Liberty Balance is about too, in
Yeah.
its own way. With the
No.
end of that movie. But because I read this article called "All I Can See Is the Flags: Fort Apache and the Visibility of History," and it talks about, because you said this ending is so kind of you can read a lot of different ways, maybe with John Wayne basically upholding Thursday's kind of basically upholding the myth in
Yeah.
a way. But he kind of reads it as he basically says many readings of the film assume that York contradicting the reporters would change anything. Basically saying like York should contradict this kind of reporter seeing him as a hero because he saw what actually happened, right? Where like
Yeah.
Thursday's kind of an idiot. Um, but he says, but isn't it more likely that York and the others told the truth of the battle at the time, and yet it didn't matter at all, because either to the press or the War Department? Because at the day, like you're saying, like the press and the War Department, they want to create heroes. They don't want to actually tell the truth of like the of what actually happened, where
Yeah.
he looks like kind of an idiot the whole time, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
and then he says, "What is the point of speaking truly about such matters to people so completely unprepared to hear the truth?" So basically, like, you know, like the myth is already there to be created. Like they just need some kind of story to fill in something they're already going to print no matter what, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that's what makes it interesting. Where like where does
Yeah,
Wayne even fall on the spectrum of like, does he actually support Thursday now? Is he totally brainwashed, or is he just doing this for because he knows it makes no difference,
yeah, for the greater
and he's
good.
being almost like ironic? The way he says he says he must have been a great man. No, so the reporter says he must have been a great man and a great soldier, and then Wayne says, "No man died more gallantly, nor won more honor for his regiment." And that's technically true. He won honor for his regiment, and you could say he died with honor, died more gallantly because he actually did end up going dying for his troops. Was that what he
Yeah,
made? Was that what? Does that make what he did right?
yeah,
Like,
no, yeah, exactly.
Well,
or does Wayne
I
even
think
think
that
so?
also I think that also plays into why with building or keeping this myth is because if this man died for nothing, then that means everyone that he also brought with him died for nothing. So it's also Wayne honoring the people that actually mattered to him, which were the other people that actually died with um,
100%. And
Thursday.
like, I think he makes the point where one of the differences between Wayne and Fonda is trying to get out of Fort Apache the whole time, right? He really doesn't care about Fort Apache that much, but Wayne is actually excited to stay in Fort Apache as the new leader.
Yeah,
And like there's like a new family being there. Like we see O'Rourke with his new son that's like 3 years old now and stuff. Basically, how this family continues. Where he actually cares about other people in the like Blake was saying in Fort Apache as well of keeping the tradition alive.
Yeah,
damn, yeah. I think, um, yeah, this is definitely one of the because like you mentioned the Man Who Shot Woody Valance connection. Like, yeah, the endings are actually really similar. I never really even thought about that deeply, but it is kind of crazy. It also brings to mind. I don't know much about Brecht, but uh, Jean-Marie Straub
Mm.
uh, has a very famous quote where basically he said, "Ford is more Brecht than Brecht." And honestly, like I could see like this scene being like one of the reasons why he would say that, in terms of just like how like the distancing kind of like effect from the narrative, kind of like how much complexity it can bring to
Mm.
uh, the piece of art.
I need to watch the Straub's movies because I've heard them. They love Ford, but you'd think on the surface they're opposites.
Yeah, because yeah, they're like yeah,
Because there's
communists and
that
stuff.
amazing shot of John Wayne looking out the window with the reflection of like the army like walking by,
hmm
uh, and you're like, I don't know exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's an incredible ending. Um, yeah, definitely one of those movies like you kind of like the ending is kind of like it just like it really like dictates how you talk about the movie.
Like how you
Um,
feel about it.
yeah, how you feel
That's why I
about
would love
it.
to watch it with like an old audience that loves like
sure.
old John Wayne
Yeah,
westerns, like the typical John Wayne western or something.
interview them and like pull them and just see how they view the ending.
Because if you're like basically pro American myth, do you like
Yeah,
this movie, or do you see it as a criticism that a lot of leftists or liberals will read John Ford's movies?
this movie they think the movie is like the work of the radical left.
Yeah, or like I mean, even Tagalog says this is where Ford starts his radical period. And I forgot to mention this, but in his My Darling Clementine part, or actually, I forgot what he says this, but he says basically from Fort Apache on, Ford will make all anti-war movies. All his movies are anti-war. So
Ford
you
went
could,
woke.
I mean, you can see what Ty Gallagher thinks about it, especially after his experience with World War II,
Yeah,
and that's what makes They Were Expendable really interesting too, from that perspective. But
damn, yeah.
compared to like I don't think a lot of people see John Ford like that. If you just ask them among like
Yeah,
the common people or the common film
definitely.
person.
Yeah, damn. But yeah, that's basically Fort Apache in a nutshell. Um, a great movie. Um, and then now next week we are continuing on with week 3. The movies we are gonna be doing are, I think I'm trying. I know what the two movies are. I just don't remember the exact which order we're doing them in. It's Wagon Master and The Quiet Man.
What years are those?
Okay, yeah, Wagon Master's first before The Quiet Man, which makes sense because Quiet Man's in color, but also he didn't fully switch to color. Ford did, but we're it's the first movie of Ford in color, The Quiet Man, and or I don't know if it's his first color movie. Actually, I'm not sure about that. I just meant just like it's the first movie of Ford's we're doing that's in color. I don't want to get that confused. Uh, and goddamn, that movie, we'll talk about it. Just goddamn, maybe the best looking movie I've ever seen. Like it's definitely in contention. But yeah, excited to talk about those two movies next week. So until then, hope to see you floating through the clouds.
10,000 cattle gone astray, left my range and wandered away. And the sons of guns, I'm here to say, have left me dead broke today. In gambling halls delaying, 10,000 cattle straying. 10,000 cattle stray.